(0776105105881143504), and let's hear you tonight on the first segments of the program. I beg to differ here, top 105.3 0776 105 105 881143504. Let's hear you tonight. What is it that you want to talk about? What are some burning issues that you want to talk about tonight? It's about time to put a call through here and let's hear from you. 0776 105 105 881 3504 are the numbers support you through here tonight, and you're going to be live on top 105.3. 0776 105 105 804 105 105 881 3504. We're going to be live this on the program. Wherever you are watching us from, if I time here that you put a call through, let's hear from you tonight. What is it that you want to talk about? Those of you watching us online, you can just share the podcast so that other people can be able to join us here this evening. Continue to share the live, and don't forget to comment where you're joining us from or where you're watching us from. You can also mention that, just tell us where you are following us from tonight. And trust me, I'm going to read out the comments. But share as many as you can tonight. Yes, share as many as you can right here. We would appreciate for doing that. Share and share. Yeah. Share and share, please. You can share the podcast so other people can be able to join us here on the show. I beg to differ. So continue to share. Share and share to as many as you can. We appreciate you for doing that. So we are panelists about us on the show. We like for you to continue and share. For those of you in radio, then you can just put a call through tonight on 0776 105 105, and let's hear from you here on top 105.3. Yeah, 0776 105 105 the number supported through. You're going to be live here on this radio. So let's hear from you tonight, folks. Those of you in radio lands, I will wait our panelists and guests to join us here. We will let you hear from you in your various towns and community. What is new developments are ongoing? What are some changes you can tell us, and we are going to be discussed together here on the first segment. So on the first segment, we hear from you what exactly is taking place in your various towns or villages, or what challenges you are going through in your area. You share with us, and we all talk about it together here on this radio. Yeah. So it's the first time coming across this program. Let's say good evening and welcome. This is the program I beg to differ, whether you agree or not. Let's hear from you. You can beg somebody to disagree with them, right? And that's the program. So let's hear from you tonight. 0776 105 105 881 3504 the numbers to put you through tonight, and you're going to be live on this program. I beg to differ. 0776 105 105. If you're following from Bazon, Konebo, Biliotuawo, any part of Grand GEDEH tonight, you follow us from, we like to say good evening, welcome, and keep posted. Don't you go away. Those of you watching us live on YouTube, Facebook, you can just share it live. That's all you can do for us tonight. But if you want to join us, our WhatsApp number is on the screen. The last number there is the WhatsApp number. Just call out tonight, and you're going to join us right here, Top Radio. Yeah, let's hear from you tonight. 0776 105 105 881 14 3504 881 14 3504 are the numbers supposed to tonight, and let's hear from you. What are some challenges that you guys are going through in your area? What is it that you want to talk about tonight on this radio? It's about time you put a call through on 0776 105 105 881 14 3504, and you're going to be live here this evening. Let's hear you. What is it that you want to talk about? Oh yes, like who break the law now? Yep, that hears from you tonight, man. Who is that person that break the law? You that make the law, you break the law. Who is that person tonight? Let's hear from you. 0776 105 105 881 14 3504. If you just joining us, let us say welcome. And this is the program that beg to differ, the first statement, where we take calls from you to know what exactly is ongoing in your various towns and communities, or what are some challenges that you are going through in your towns and communities. It's about time you reflect out those issues tonight and let us discuss it together right here on your radio, top 105.3, right? So join us tonight here by calling us on the cell number 0776 105 105 881 14 3504, and you're going to be part of us here this wonderful evening. So pretty soon we'll be having our panelist and co-host Mr. Archie Wright will be joining us here on the show there today for. So those of you watching, like I said, you can just help us share the podcast on there so that other people can be able to join us here. But if you wanted to make a point, you just call the last number on the screen. It's our WhatsApp number, and we're going to put it through here. Yeah, just call the last number and you will be part of us right here on this radio. But don't forget also to tell us where you following us from tonight. Yeah, if you're watching us online on YouTube, just comment and tell us it I'm from in Liberia, diaspora, any purpose. Just comment. Let's know where you are following us from tonight. So let's go on the phone line and pick up this first caller. Hello.
Yeah.
Good evening. You're near. Where are you not from? Hello. All right. So if you're getting us, we are not getting. So what you need to do for us now is just drop the line. You call back. Yeah, you can just drop the line, then you call us back. Yeah, maybe if the internet are doing that. Yeah, so just drop the line and then you can call us back. Yeah, drop the line, you call us back. Let's hear from you tonight. 0776 105 105 881 14 3504 0776 105 105 881 14 3504. Let's hear from you tonight. What are some burning issues that you want to flag out tonight? About time you put in your calls here, and let's hear from you what exactly is ongoing in your various towns and villages. What are some challenges that you guys are going through in that part of GEDEH County or Liberia? Let's hear from you here on the program. I beg to differ. Yeah, you beg somebody to disagree with them. So let's hear from you. It's a program here on the Top Radio. And this is the first segment of the program where we take calls from our listening audience to know what exactly is happening in their towns and villages. For those of you watching, like I said, just drop your comments. Tell us where you're watching us from tonight. Yeah, just tell us where you're watching us from. And trust me, we appreciate you for doing that tonight. Yeah, comment and tell us where you are watching us from. Please don't forget to share the live to other group pages that you are following on the internet. Yes, just share it to other group pages you follow on the internet and be able to join us here on the show. I beg today for number supported you tonight at 0776 105 105 881 14 3504, and you're going to be live here on Tor Radio. 0776 105 105 is the number supported through here this evening. Going to be live. This person. Hello?
Yeah, good evening. Am I live now?
Yes, you are live.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Wu. Good evening to Grandchildren. This is Bedekatu. I'm sorry for the feedback of my background. I'm walking along the road.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. My concern this evening it has to do with the hospital issue.
Okay.
What I'm still struggling to understand is that hospital, the newly constructed hospital, it is called Grand GEDEH Referral Hospital.
Sure.
So the question that comes to my mind now is, if the team here, the health team here, move all of its equipment and all of their activities at the referral hospital, the one who is suffering from malaria, stomach running, cool, went there for treatment and the signal got worse. How do you refer this person now, and which of the hospital you going to refer them to?
Okay.
That is my concern. Because the name alone already identify or tell all the kind of hospital that is being constructed and just been dedicated. Grand GEDEH Referral Hospital. So in my mind, I thought it was like, when you go to Mater Tottenham Hospital for treatment and the signal get worse, then that patient will be referred to the bigger hospital. Other people from the surrounding counties will be sent there as way of referring them to the bigger hospital for just as we have the Ebro Hospital in Tarratown, they did in the county. But if you now taking all of your activities to the referral hospital, patients are going up for treatment, then how do you refer them? That is my question. And which of the hospital are you going to refer them to now? If need be that it need to be referred to a hospital for better treatment. The second concern is, we kept saying the things. We are not against the workings of the health practitioner in county.
Okay.
But what we are saying is, for the very safety of us all, even they themselves who are the health practitioner, you go there for working. Patient goes there. There's no communication. You and I know this. So what will happen along the way? That this patient need to communicate with their family member outside of that place. They got family member in Zwedru, in Morovia, nearby town. They need to place a call there. That I've met the doctor and this is what the doctor asked me to do. I need your help. Or the person got money in their phone, they need to cash it out. No internet connectivity there. Do you expect that patient to come back to Zwedru, cash out and go back to the hospital for treatment? In that process, anything happen along the way, who do we hold responsible?
Okay.
Is it not negligent of the hospital staff? Because they know that we don't have internet connectivity that will be serving us. And internet is very essential nowadays, my brother. This is the modern days that we are living. That is what caught my attention this evening, and I thought it's important to flag it out. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Bedekatu, for being part of the show. Thanks so much for your concern. And folks, let's hear you can do the same. You just listen to him, right? There are a lot of things in flag out tonight. And let's hear from you too. what are some things on your mind tonight that you want to fleck out so that the public can be able to join you tonight? Let's hear from you. Numbers of callers 0776 105 105 81 14 0504 0776 105 105 881 14 35 04 are the numbers to call us tonight, and you're going to be part of the show. I beg to differ. Yeah, you beg somebody to disagree with them, right? Yeah, that's the program name tonight, and let's hear from you who you agree with or not. Let's hear from you tonight here on the show. We have 25 minutes down the hour 9 o'clock, and that's the correct time here in studio for what I'm sitting here this evening. So, folks, the line is open. Let's hear from you. Numbers to call us 0776 105 105 881 14 35 04 are the numbers. Let's go and read these comments coming in from our viewers tonight on the Facebook page. Yeah, let's bring the comments in. The Liberian Civil Rights Movement official spokesperson is falling from Upper Corwet, Monrovia, Liberia, and said, "Good evening, brother." That's Mr. William Debbie Ulu. Thanks so much for joining Mr. Ulu, and keep posted. Let's go and land and pick up this person. We'll come back continuously. Yeah. Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Let me where have you joined from?
This is the one to call from Katume side.
Welcome to the show tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
My question had to do with the referral hospital.
Okay.
Why would you be urgency? Why graduate should be urgency without digestion? I beg Nigerians to please leave the whole hospital as it is until government breaking funds that will talk about a referral hospital. The word is referral hospital. It is new. They will not abandon the whole hospital to confuse people. We are confused now. So for me, I beg them, let them tell the government to bring in the most needed equipment that will make a hospital to be referral, then leaving Matotome, making the citizens, be in a kind of dilemma condition.
Okay.
I beg them. The federal hospital will work everything there. So,
hello.
thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for being part of the show. So, folks, you can do the same. Put a call through tonight on 0776 105 105 881 14 35 04 0776 105 105 881 14 35 04. You're going to be part of the show tonight on the program I Beg to Differ. Let's hear you tonight. You listen to other people. Yeah, that concern is on the Matotome Memorial Hospital. That a few days ago, that was Monday, when the administration called for press conference, and those of you following our Facebook page, that conference was here in the compounds of the Matotome Memorial Hospital, where the administration said pretty soon they will be moving to the newly constructed referral GEDEH Hospital. Yeah, so pretty soon we expect them to be moving, and so they call for the press conference, told the press that they will be leaving pretty soon to be over that. So there are many questions that were asked, even pertaining to the internet business, right? Where the administration told us that yes, of course, the lack of internet service in that part of the area, but then the VP already spoken about, both GSS companies having a tower being constructed over there to be able to provide the internet service for them. So they have the hope, and they will be moving there. So according to them, when the president say, "Hey, me are going to him," so with the hope that they have to, and of them meditated the health minister that they should do everything possible to believe that the furnitures, everything will be available. So if the furnitures are not available for now, the one they are using to Matter Memorial Hospital will be taking it there to operate. One for the materials to be over there, and then people go there to steal the materials, like government bring. That was one point they stretched out, because we asked them what is it now that you guys try, to move fast. So their response was there are a lot of materials that have been placed to that particular referral hospital, and they don't want people to go there and steal the material from there. So based on that, they will be moving to that particular area and be working there until other needed materials can come. As we all know, like the superintendent said, and even the VP, that there are other buildings. It's just on a foundation level, or they just lay the foundation, but they don't go nowhere. Yeah, with the whole building, the structure are there on foundation level. So that 5 buildings are still there, but they believe that the government is going to work on that, so they're moving there. And our question was, what's about the Matotome Memorial Hospital? So it was like a league with the government of Liberia and the citizens of Grand GEDEH to decide if Matotome can still be maintained as another clinic. So folks, that's it. Let's hear from you. I just want to give that clarity to what I've said during the press conference. Those of you who are not having a chance, because we then will bring it live on the radio, but it will also live on our Facebook page. So yeah, so that's it there tonight. Let's hear from you. 0776 105 105 881 14 35 04 0776 105 105 881 14 35 04. You're going to be part of us here tonight on the show. I beg to differ. This is the first segment where we take calls from our listening audience and hear from you what exactly is on your mind tonight that you want to talk about, or what are some issues affecting you that you want to talk about tonight. It's about time you join us here, and let's hear from you. Yeah, what are some burning issues tonight that you want to bring out to the public? It's about time to put forward, and let's hear from you. So as we await your call, we take our things on and keep it rolling here until we have another chorus on the line, or our panelists join us here on the show. Then we keep the show started here this evening. So we go back to the comment section and see who is there. It says good evening, dear brother, and I'm watching you live from Putu Penocon, and the government. Come again, Putu Penocon, government go, government come, and on we talk. So government go, government come. That's one is from the man Ellison G. Y saying government go, government come, and we'll continue talking. We'll talk, and talk. Thanks so much for the show. Thanks so much to Ellison G. Y. You always buy your data to watch us online. I'm much appreciative for doing that. Yeah, you follow the morning show and you follow the evening show here. Yeah, the talk monitor, you always monitor us, and that of the I beg to differ, you always here with you, with us. Thanks so much. Yeah, for being there, and keep posted. I don't you go to wait. Our guest will soon be joining us on the show, along with our panelist and co-host, Mr. Archie Wright. So we expect them tonight very shortly. They're going to be here with us as we have roughly about 27 minutes up to the hour 10 o'clock. They're going to be joining us here on the show. Yeah, so those of you watching us, just drop your comments. Tell us where you're watching us from tonight, and then we're going to read out your comment like others are doing in the comment section. You can also do the same here tonight, and you're going to be part of the show. Those of you in Radio Land, just call us tonight on 0776 105 105 881 14 35 04, and let's hear from you what exactly is on your mind tonight. What are some challenges you guys are going through in your towns and villages that you want to talk about tonight? It's about time you call us tonight, and let's hear from you. If you are facing the issues of safe drinking water, if you're facing the issues of lack of teachers in your areas, maybe the issues of Burkina Beach influence have been giving you guys a headache, and then there's no solution. Tonight you can bring it to the ears of GEDEH, and then we all can discuss it together here on the show. I beg today for numbers of through 0776 105 105 881 14 3504, and you're going to join us here. Those of you watching, so like I said, you can use the last number on the screen is our WhatsApp number, and we will put it through as soon as you call on that particular numbers. You're going to be live here tonight. So if those of you two in radio land, just call on the cell numbers, and then you will be part of it. Let's go on the line and pick up this person. Hello.
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 Okay. I'm Jacob Tambe from Tiamata.
Welcome to the show. How are you, Tamata, this evening?
Okay. I want to suggest something to the hospital, those are working in the hospital, and our government officials around us.
Okay.
I'm saying that let the workers of the hospital remain in that Matatoma until they can finish with that hospital properly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So that's it. So let's hear from you. Keep your calls coming in on 0776 105 105 881 14 3504. 0776 105 105 881 14 3504. You just listen to him calling from Putu, Tiama Town. Let the data remain at Matotome until the bidding is being completed properly, right? Yeah, let's hear from you. 0776 105 105 881 14 3504. And let's hear from you on the program The Bed to Default. This is the first segment of the program where we take calls from our listening audience and hear from you what exactly is happening and what are some concerns you have to raise here tonight. So let's hear from you. Let's go and pick up this caller. Hello.
Yeah.
Good evening. Your name, where have you joined from?
My name is Austin Sindre, calling from Prime Community.
Welcome to the show. And where you have the other community?
Yeah. Prime Community, right in front of the DA office.
Okay.
Where you have me from Marie Claire, we are high school.
Oh, okay, I know that era. Go ahead, Chief.
Thank you for the topic on the discussion. For me, my advice, I want people to stay medicine the hospital, the old hospital.
Okay.
Then they talk about the new hospital here. And the new hospital be complete fully go there. Because now that new hospital really no good network system. No good network system. And really, before you build hospital, you got to take out of their good network system. And put that data survey, they don't tell good. So for me, I prefer this you say old hospital here.
All right. Thank you so much for being part of the show. So that's it, folks. Keep your calls coming in on 0776 105 105 881 14 3504. It's a versus. Let them remain at Matotome until the bidding is being completed properly, all material is set, and then they can move further. Yeah, let's hear from you. 0776 105 105 881 14 3504. 0776 105 105 881 14 3504 are the numbers to pull you through tonight that you're going to be live on the program The Bed to Default tonight. Let's take our things on that we're with callers to put in their calls tonight and hear from you what are issue tonight that you really want to bring up. Let's go on the line and pick up this person. Hello. Hello.
Yes.
All right. So if you're ready, just call up, right? Yeah. Please don't ask for somebody on a song here. If you want to call us anytime, you just walk away from the monitor and then you place your call, or you just switch it off for the time you come and call us, and then you finish, you can turn the radio back on, right? Yeah, that would be good for us, please. Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Where have you joined from?
After David Noah calling for the
Welcome to the program.
yes.
to do with the hospital.
Okay.
You know, soon about that reading it is easier to follow it. The hospital they did there today is a referring hospital. But now, why make it now we teach matter tournament hospital carry it to the hospital that we're supposed to refer people to? So how do we understand this English here? We do not know the English here. At least we understand what the people say. When the condition is critical to matter tournament hospital, then you will transfer the.
Oh my God, we lost that person. Let's see if we can put in this caller. Okay, we lost both of them. Yeah, keep your calls coming in on 0776 105 105 and let's get this person. Hello.
Alright. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Your name, where you joining from?
This is coming for Disco Hill.
All right, welcome to the show tonight.
Alright, brother, thank you for your show. My concern has to do with labyrinth people. Something else I noticed is the labyrinth people are no good things. I can hospital they put bed down there. But there's look at the floor, my brother. If it is a yard, it's a cash. You win the well as a nurse, we wear clothes and then you can doors. Let us talk, let the street is about the yard. People want to rush to go in a hospital. All the trouble have been put on and we see the Pupa facility. They are about all women be different. It will be nothing in Labria without nothing. Many people are going to put in that place. We get almost 9 billion complete. They will open a place. So it do say for in Labria, but man, who can look good? Thank you for your brother.
All right, thank you so much. So, folks, let's hear from you tonight on the program. I beg to differ as you listen to many callers here tonight. Let's hear from you. Let's get to your point. What is your own take to, right? Or what are some challenges that you're going through and what the out tonight? It's about time that you put the call here. The first segment of the program I beg to differ. I will have 19 minutes up to the hour 10 o'clock. 10 our panelists and guests will soon be joining us here on the program. I beg to differ. So it's about time that we hear from you on this radio 0776 105 105 881 14 35 04 0776 105 105 881 14 35 04 and you're going to be joining us here in studio tonight. So let's pick up this caller. Hello.
Yeah, it is an hour.
Yeah, Brigado, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Brigado, again. Look, Elizana, the question the citizen continue to ask is, what's the rationale behind the hasty transition of the hospital from matter treatment to Grand Referral Hospital? Okay. What really our health practitioners want to prove? Except where they must come out and tell us it is being politicized. That's the only thing they can tell us that maybe we will be convinced on that somebody wants to score a political goal. Because they themselves make us to understand that hospital in the common with that big hospital is for big sickness. Okay. When you're here hurting, you rush to matter treatment. Besides matter treatment, which one of the renowned clinic you get in Shreku City here that you think you can really go to and you say yes, you've been to a clinic compared to matter treatment hospital. So you want to move matter treatment there and then you're telling us that the hospital that is being built near matter treatment memorial hospital, you want to use it as a nursing, how you call the place? Nursing compound. In other words, it's going to be used as a guest house. So you're telling me that all those rooms that that in our building going to be used as a sleeping place for nurses? Are what you telling us? They're going to occupy all of these rooms. Don't they have rooms or houses in Jewelry in Grand that they are living in before going to work to matter tournament, that you now going to find accommodation for them, even that will be sleeping. So let them tell us the motive, the real motive, the thing that behind it, rushing thing, they won't go to the B hospital. Let them really come and tell us it. So well, if they want to move there, let them move there, and then nobody should be in a hospital compound to say they're going to live there. No. Then we all know now that no more Bantotomi hospital, that empty building. A level all the citizens, yeah, as they say, we the citizens will decide what to do, what to say. Then we too now will decide, but then nobody must be living there to say that next compound here, no. Without that, no way granted they call next compound.
Okay.
The government have built a hospital, they know that nurses are supposed to have next compound. They willing to pay. Then I want hospital that they put President Tommy Bill and left here for us, the citizens of Grand GEDEH County. Then you want to change it to be a dwelling place. Then I think you have the entire citizens of Grand GEDEH now to contend with. Then the government now will come and fix it, or without we make out down. Mr. Government, say you build a new hospital, you carry everything there, leave the other structure here for all the citizens. We will decide what to do with it. They will put medicine there, we look for behind a hot doctor to be there, to be treating our here and healthy, we will do it.
Okay.
Because we know it to be a hospital, not a place for someone to be living. Again, let them tell us what the motive that behind the hurry moving. Hurry moving. Let them really explain to us what behind it. We want to know.
Thank you. We're going to make our way to the administrator, Mr. Thomas Neres. We're going to have in maybe one or two discussions with him to know what exactly. Yeah. Hello.
Good evening, Brother Ulu.
Good evening. Your name and where you joining from tonight?
Again, this is the one to call from Katume side.
Welcome back.
You know, every government that comes, they pass over us. Let us note that. Any government that come in, they can pass over us.
Okay.
That little matter Memorial Hospital that we have had here. I beg all the graduates. Let Martine, because I want disaster tomorrow. Let Martine, let the government, that new hospital that the Jama Agro built during some of our administration, let them leave a good data and equipment to put there before they move there.
Okay.
They might not confuse us with back then. You understand? Our
Yeah,
hospital
yeah.
is well qualified
Okay.
for people to maintain. Let them look for data. As far as another means to that need referral, it should be new to everybody. It must be new to everybody, not only to force or to hurry up. We back then, they might not confuse us. Let them lead our hospital. Let them be the matter to me. That was second concern. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Tony, for being part of the show. So that's it, folks. Keep your calls coming in tonight on 0776 105 105 881 14 3504. And let's hear you tonight. We're going to land and pick up this caller. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Your name, where have you joined us from?
This is Benson Goa from Zobush.
Can you please be audible?
This is Benson Goa from Zobush.
All right. Welcome, Mr. Ogua.
Okay, you see, the content of the press statement from the hospital authority is not new. So we are still in doubt. What is important I want you to that I'm trying to recommend to you tonight is that one of the leadership of that hospital should be invited as the platform to explain to the people of Grand GEDEH what are they hastily relocated themselves from the Matter Memorial Hospital to the county referral hospital, because it's still not relocation. So the people need to be informed, because of the people, the two hospitals have been built. So if you are leaving the old one today and relocating yourself to the new one, let the people be informed sufficiently. That's my recommendation. Please invite them.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
0776 105 105 881 14 3504. Let's hear you tonight on the program that back to day 4. We have 11 minutes up to 10 o'clock. We will be joining our panelists and guests on the show. So just keep your calls coming in and let's hear from you. What are concerns tonight that you want to raise, or what are some challenges that you guys are going through in your various towns and communities? What is it on your mind tonight that you want to talk about? It's about time you put in your calls and let's hear from you on the voice segment 0776 105 105 881 14 3504. Let's take our 10 song quickly. Okay, let's hold it there. Go back to the phone line and pick up this person. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Good evening. Your name and where have you joined us from?
I'm Laundry Debbie. I joined from Johnson Community.
Welcome to the show.
Okay. My concern has to do with the EPA.
Come again?
The EPA people.
Okay.
They always enter in our garage and say that we're wasting dirty oil on the ground and it can affect the water on the ground. So if we don't catch our area, they will close the garage. But now if you go in the market, you see people wasting dirty oil all over that business area. And so I want to know if that dirty oil will not affect the water on the ground. If that only in the garage, where it can affect the water on the ground, it can affect the water in the market. That's what I want to know.
Okay. Thank you. So that's it. Those of you the boss, maybe if you're listening tonight, you come out to provide clarity on that. Yeah. 0776 105 105 881 14 3504 0776 105 105 881 14 3504. And let's hear you tonight on the program at Back to D4. This is the four segments of the program where we take calls from our listening audience and hear from them tonight what exactly is happening or what taking place in your various towns and communities, or what are new developments taking place in your area, or what challenges your people are going through, or what is it tonight on your mind that you want to talk about. It's about time that you put your calls through here, and let's hear from you. What is it on your mind you want to talk about? Yeah. So the phone line is open 0776 105 105 881 14 3504. The numbers tonight will put it through, and you're going to be live on top 105.3 tonight. Yeah. Money speak of the house, like your polio. So let's say go evening to the band. Let me see. That's my man. Okay, Abino Zle. Welcome to the show, and keep posted. Don't you go away. Keep watching. Continue to share the live. That's the band Abino Zle, who is also following us here this evening. So folks, keep your calls coming in on 0776 105 105 881 14 3504. You're going to be live tonight on the program that Back to Day 4. This is the first portions of the program where we take us to know exactly what is happening in your towns and villages, or going to in your various communities. It's about time here that you put across through and talk about it, or what are some brand new issues that you want to flag out tonight, or what are some new developments in your community that's taking place, and that you want to bring out. Yeah, it's about time tonight. You call us and let's hear from you. Like, you listen to others make concern on the issues of the people, the doctors at the Matterton and Memorial Hospital. Pretty some movement the newly constructed referral hospital. You've been hearing a lot of people raising concern that matter to should be maintained and let them be there until the building can be properly well equipped. Yeah, so let's hear from you too, right? If there are name challenges in your towns or things you're going through, you can also let us know. They're going to land and pick up this person. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. Your name, where have you joined us from?
My name is Deborah G. Badley from South Bay Community.
Welcome to the show tonight.
Okay, thank you very much, my son. There's something doubting me today when I went to the police station. The full man son knocked my daughter down.
Okay.
And my daughter, she never caught on him, nothing do something on him. But then he told me, say, our phone and our power bill are lost. They are not responsible to pay for it. Because they only treat her, then they put him there to battle him. And the final analysis, and I told them to say that they must send me to court. So I will see the laws that were written in the book. Whenever somebody knock you down, your bills or dollar loss, they are not responsible. So that's why I told them, from then and they start getting me and people go to court. So that's why they hurt me to do.
All right.
So we need to really look at that thing because our money is putting down. There is not fun. Just money for somebody is not too good. Yeah. The more bad number dollar down, I'm talking about it. They do different things. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being part of the show.
Thank you.
Wow. All right. This too is Liberia. Yeah. On this level now, you hear people saying this too is Liberia, right? This too is Liberia. Let's hear from you tonight. 0776 105 105 881 3504 0776 105 105 881 3504 are the numbers to put you through tonight on the program. I beg today for you're going to be part of it here. Like you listen to all right. These are concerns that people that racing and we will know how to engage or those people as media practitioner, right? So if you bring up the challenge and we know how we can handle or we can work on this. So I would like to encourage you, this week will be the first week of introduction to the program Know Your Law. So that program will be coming your way from 4 o'clock to 5 in the evening hour. And we are also being in contact with other people that actually know the law, where we'll be having some lawyers on the show, and some people from the human rights background and people from the women and children division are all going to be part of the show, where they're going to be telling us our right as citizens, right? If we go to the police station, what people need to do or what we need to go through there. Yeah, so that's probably not coming your way quickly. Let's have Billy Katu back on the line. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Very cool. Back on the line. The lady that just called, what she explained, it touched us.
Okay.
So when she's listening, we're asking her to call back so that you can take her number. We will get it from you through the station.
Okay.
And tomorrow, we find her and get to the station. If it is true, what she explained, if it is true,
yeah,
then we want to know the officer who tell her that the man who knocked her daughter down is not responsible for the damagement or losses of any of her items. Then we ourselves will escort her to the court. She can call back and you please take her number if it is true. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. So that's it. If you listen, just call back and I will get your phone number, send it to him. Then he will get in contact with you tomorrow in the morning. Yeah. So if it's still there, you can call her back and we'll take your number. Yeah. So calls coming in 05105 881 3504. 0776 105 105 881 3504. And let's hear from you. That welcome in Mr. Archie right tonight. All right.
How you doing, Alex?
Mr. Right, where you can let's just screen in the person that will come back to you.
Sure.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. You're
Hello?
me. Where you join from?
Okay, this is Benson Goa again from Zobush.
Welcome back.
Okay, you see, no wonder why police are being given rotated assignment in Liberia.
Okay.
when you send any police officer to a particular area for more than 3, 4, 5 months, that out of corruption spirit now in them. For a police officer, 3 police officers, to back somebody who became victim of an accident, to say stop going to the court, it beats my imagination. What is important tonight? In fact, as I'm talking to you now, immediately if I put the phone down, I'll call the 102 in Moravia. Because these people are assigned here in the interior. They're just taking the advantage. They thought to themselves that there's no one to monitor them. So they are complete bosses for themselves. No respect for the citizen. And you know why? In fact, I will start that far.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Wright, welcome to the show. You still mean there?
Yeah, man, no can forget I won't mute.
Mr. Wright, unmute yourself.
You hear me now? You hear me now?
Yes, I'm getting you. You are live.
Okay, great. How's your day?
Yeah, great.
Everything is okay.
Okay. Are you done, Mr. AD, right?
Yeah, thank God.
So
My day is great.
It's already here. Let's see if we can bring you on.
My day is great.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. How you doing, Dr. Kafani?
I'm doing great, brother man. How are you?
I am doing just as great.
Wonderful.
We're glad to have you on.
I'm glad to be here.
Alrighty. So today promises to be a very good day because we have Dr. Kafani in the house during this very, very precious time, the month of the African Historic Month. Is that what it is?
Yep.
Yes, there you go. I'm kind of pushing it, but you can understand where I'm coming from. Alrighty. So, like I said, it was good having you, and we do have a few of our panelists on the show, and we're not going to take much time. We're going to go around the room, and then we're going to introduce ourselves to you, and then we'll turn it over to you, introduce yourself, and then we'll begin the conversation.
All right, sounds good.
All right. So my name is Archie Wright, and I'm the co-host of the show on Top FM 103.5 in the Republic of Liberia. We're located in one of the counties here called Grand GEDEH in the city of Zwedru. And we broadcast around the world and in the region on Facebook, on YouTube, and on the web on www.topfm.com. And so that is it for me. I will now go to one of our panelists here, Mr. A.D. Wright. Mr. Wright, please introduce yourself to our guests tonight.
Sure. So, my name is Amos D. Wright. I'm on the show from Monrovia, the capital of Liberia.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. The veteran First Smith.
I'm not hearing a veteran.
Yeah, he's muted. Now he's unmuted.
You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh.
We can hear you.
Now on screen. Okay, now you can hear me on screen. Fred the veteran Smith, and I'm a journalist by profession and also producer of I Beg to Differ. And I'm excited because our guest today, I know how God put us together, but he's someone who is more African than we who are African. So I don't know how he, but that's what friend Fernand said. We have double consciousness, not only what the world judge us, but the inner consciousness within her that connect her to the motherland, Africa. So it's just within him. and he lived it, he breathed it, he talked about it. So today we are privileged to have him as our special guest. I would say African American month, but I would say African month too, because we would be looking at African contribution to civilization and the world today. And so I think that's brief history for me. And you want me to introduce him, or he will introduce himself?
I think let's read the bio on behalf of the doctor, and then we will then pass it over to him. And if you want to add to it, that'll be great.
Okay. So Dr. AKIL KOKAYI KHALFANI is the change agent, motivational speaker, ambassador, author, professor, and award-winning TV host. He is director of the Africana Institute, director for the Center for Global Education and Experiences, and professor of sociology and Africana Studies at Essex County Community College in Essex, New Jersey. And also he provides services the college as coordinator of sociology program and coordinator for the African Study program, and previously served as the director of Urban Issue Institute. He is the author of The Hidden Debate, The Truth Revealed about the battle over affirmative action in South Africa and the United States, which was nominated for the National Oliver Cromwell Cox Award by the American Sociology Association, ASA. He is the co-author of Introduction to Sociology, Understanding Our Complex World, and 4th edition. He is contributing author to several books, including Our Complex World and Encyclopedia, Demographic of South Africa and White Logic, White Matters, Racism, and Mediology, which won the USA 2009 Oliver Cromwell Award. And many more community service. He ran for different positions in our political arena. So he fit in so many hats. So let him welcome him to our Top FM 105.3. I beg to differ. So it's a pleasure and it's an education time to welcome no other our brother from the diaspora, but he also in Africa. No AKIL KHALFANI as our special guest. Welcome to the show. I hope I have done justice to you. If not, you can add.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll just correct the pronunciation of the name. It's AKIL KOKAYI KHALFANI. But other than that, it's all good. I appreciate you.
In fact, let me start with the questioning. How you got that name and how you felt when you got that name. Take us through that journey.
Yeah. So that's all the way back in 1987. And I was undergrad at the University of California, Santa Cruz. And we were doing a lot of political action work for African people, celebrating ALD, African Liberation Day, working to conscientize people about African history and culture, and myself. And Spirit came to me and said, it's time to get rid of the last bastion of white supremacy holding on to you, and that is to get rid of the slave name. And so a lot of folks that were doing that in the day, that happened a lot in the 60s and the 70s. And then me in the 80s, and a bunch of other people at the same time. And so I changed both my first, last, and middle name, and not as a rejection of my parents or any way, but it was a rejection of the stranglehold that white supremacy has on African people. and the last stranglehold it has is on our name. So we give our names, most of our surnames are the names, even on the continent. If you're in Liberia, you're in Sierra Leone, still have a lot of European names. And so to get rid of that, we went back to find and pray and let the elders and ancestors speak over us. And I got the name AKIL, KOKAYI, KHALFANI, which is the first and last name are, and that speaks to my Pan-Africanism, because the first and last name are Swahili, and the middle name is Shona from Zimbabwe. So full name means intelligent, one who uses reason to summons the people who are destined to rule.
Can you repeat that?
Yes, sir. Intelligent, one who uses reason to summons the people, call them up, who are destined to rule. So we know that our people are destined to rule again. And my responsibility, if I ever get detoured by something or sidetracked, my name calls me back and sits me down and says, "This is what you're tasked to do."
Very good. I forgot in the African spirit, as you have said, Barigani.
Barigani, Asante Sana.
Thank you very much. For you all that didn't understand the exchange, Barigani is a Swahili language. I mean, a way of greeting each other. Hello or whatever.
It's a Barigani.
Yeah, and you should say Izuri Sana, Asante, mean that good news, welcome.
Yes.
Yeah, so we wanted to display here that today I had to learn it when I was at UCLA also. So let's go through the show. When you started life, it was your dream to become all what you have accomplished: a professor, award-winning host of TV, sociology professor, into Africa, all what you have accomplished, what you really wanted to do, and if so, what make you to change and what you have accomplished? What turned your life around 360 degrees?
Yeah. So when I first started as an undergrad, I was going to school as a computer engineer. So back in 1985, I was going to school to study computer engineering at the University of California. And while I was there, I got introduced to some sociology courses and to some folks talking and thinking about African history and culture, about some of the challenges that we've experienced as people of African descent, studying our, the slave trade, but also the contributions that we've made from ancient Kemet to all the way across the continent and around the world. So all these different things were coming into my field of understanding, and looking at it from a sociological, political, psychological, economic perspective, and all of these things helped me to begin to start seeing the world differently. So I changed my major from computer engineering to sociology and African studies, and so that's where I've been ever since.
And things have changed, and because it have changed, have it made you a better person, or what? If you look back in your life, since we're dealing with history now, you have changed your whole life around. One can look at you and say you are African more than people who consider themselves African.
Yeah, I would say that I didn't change. What all of this did was it brought me back to whom I was from the beginning. It brought me back to what my ancestors were and reconnected me to what my soul, my spirit, my heart, and was in my blood and in my DNA. So it brought me back to whom I was before the Europeans tried to change us. So that's what happened.
Okay, before I bring my other panelists to ask you questions, recently you traveled to Africa.
Yes.
Can you just tell the importance of the trip? And then my other panelists will ask questions.
Yeah. So I had 3 recent trips to the continent. In December, I went to Algeria, to Togo, and to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. So I went to Algeria at the request of the Algerian government and the African Union to work on a conference that was on looking at colonialism as a crime against humanity in Africa. And so there was a group of us who were working on that, coming up with the dialogue, the understandings, and we wrote a draft paper. It was largely modified by the government, but in essence, we gave, I think, a fair contribution to it to talk about the ideas of colonialism and why colonialism is a problem. And so what we did was we said that here we've got to address that, and then the government came up with a declaration. So it's called the Algiers Declaration that came out of that meeting, and then I read that declaration at the conference at the end, and then from there, that went to the Algerian government, and they agreed with the outcome of that, and then they basically are holding France accountable for their crimes against humanity in Algeria. Over 1 million people, I think it was 1.2 million, 1.3 million people were killed by the French colonial regime that was there. And so then once I left there, came back to the States for a day or two, and then I went to Togo for the 9th Pan-African Congress. And that was something that was organized both by the Togolese government and the African Union. And I oversaw a session on there, one of what they call the commissions, and we looked at a bunch of stuff talking about Pan-Africanism and education and what we need to do at this point to push and making sure that Pan-Africanism is reflective in all the things that we do. So me and my committee folks who were on there, we did a good job, I believe, drafting that. And then we also, I made a presentation there about Pan-Africanism today and looking at the historical contributions of Du Bois and Sylvester Williams and others in the push for Pan-Africanism. And then lastly, I went to Ethiopia to the African Union headquarters and was invited there to come and participate in the African Union's. They started a African Union committee of experts on reparations. And so I was one of the members of that committee. Not the executive board, but which is called a bureau, but of the committee, larger committee itself. And it was I was the only person there, African American there, and there was one sister from St. Lucia, and everybody else was from the continent. And, and so this, and the one of the most remarkable parts about this particular meeting was that this was the first time that somebody who was not born living on the continent is sitting on an official committee for the African Union. And so Sister June Sumner, who's from St. Lucia and she's an ambassador to CARICOM and a couple other things. And so she's the person who's sitting on that body. And for the first time that's but this whole thing on reparations is paramount, and it's championed by the president of Ghana. And so they're actually having a meeting in Ghana next week to continue the dialogue.
Okay. Thank you, the veteran Smith, for starting off with such a very strong ground. We have gotten an insight of Dr. KHALFANI, and I will now want to pass it on to Mr. A.D. Wright. Mr. Wright, do you have any comment or question for Dr. KHALFANI?
Yeah, I want to begin by thanking him for the journey so far, but I wanted him to share a little bit of experience on, like, in his context, an African. What does it feel like?
So I'm not if somebody else could hear him, his signal was breaking up, so I couldn't hear him too much.
Okay. All right, Mr. Wright, you're breaking up and he couldn't hear you, so I'm going to try to pass a question over.
Prof, did you get my question?
Can you try to repeat again so that maybe he may hear you?
I mean, maybe if he takes his video off, he might have more bandwidth. Because there's sometimes that helps.
Because I'm hearing you now, so I can repeat my question.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Wright. I don't know why you're not hearing him. Dr. KHALFANI, he wanted you to explain your journey.
Yeah, so.
All right. Okay.
Sure.
Are you hearing me?
I can hear you.
I think let me call up my friend and see why it looks. Is it better now? No. Please text. I'm here. What's happening?
Okay, we're gonna come back to you. Let's go to Mr. We're gonna come back to you. So let's go to Habibu Barry. Habibu Barry, are you here with us?
Hello.
Yes, I'm here. Are you getting me?
I don't know what it costs.
We're getting you. We're getting you. Go ahead. Ask a question in the comments.
Yeah. So I just want to extend my deepest thanks to our guest. I think though I joined the show a little bit late, due to the electricity problem in Corine, Monrovia, but I mean, the few that I've listened to, I think our guest is a man of experience, and I did a little bit of research about him, and he's truly a Pan-Africanist, and I think Africa needs people of such that will be able to stand up to what Africa truly means, and stand up and do what is exactly right. But I'm here and listening, and I just want to say good evening to everybody, and I will come back later, with whatever questions that I will have.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Mr. Nubola, welcome you to the show. Our guest today is Dr. KHALFANI, and he is giving a little bit of bio of himself. He is a Pan-Africanist, an author. He probably traveled. He travels the continent, work along with the AU and other African countries. Currently working with Ghana on the issue of reparation and many other things. He spoke a little bit about himself based on the question I was asked by the veteran Smith. But you were not here. I don't know. Did you listen, or you want to wait until he comes back in and you ask a question?
Well, I just want to say hi to Dr. KHALFANI and welcome him to I beg to differ, and continue to listen. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Dr. KHALFANI, I want to go back to Mr. Wright and see if his audio is correct one more time.
Okay.
Okay. I'm trying to unmute him. Yeah. I'm having a difficulty. Unmute. Okay. So let me just come in then. So Dr. KHALFANI, you gave us a very okay. Mr. Wright, are you okay? Can you hear us?
Oh God, what's going on?
We can hear you now.
I'm hearing all of you.
Okay, we're hearing you now. Can you
all right, so Prof, thank you for the journey, the way you started it, so educative and informative. But my first question was, what does it feel? How does it feel in your context, being an African?
I mean, I'm African, so I love the skin that I'm in. So I love being me and being us, and that's where I sit with it. There's nothing else for it. I mean, I'm an African scholar. I'm an African father. I'm an African husband. I'm an African son. I'm a son of the soil. I'm a son of the sun. You know, I'm an African priest. I'm a priest in the Yoruba tradition and some other stuff, and I'm an ambassador to the Oni of Ile-Ife in Nigeria. You know, I breathe Africa, and Africa breathes me, and so there's no other way for me to look at it and say it. But thanks for the question.
So that's exactly what I was asking. So if I still have the opportunity, then I wanted to go to the issue of reparation. It sounds good, but equally very challenging. I mean, realizing the reality of it.
Well, I would say fighting slavery was challenging, but you know, Europeans, white folks didn't end slavery. We did. You know, I mean, if you look in the United States, slavery was over because all the hundreds of thousands of Africans who died fighting against the South made it so that the slavery ended in the United States. It wasn't Abraham Lincoln signing the Emancipation Proclamation, which sometimes we get confused on. If you read Abraham Lincoln's papers, I have his entire papers in my office, several volumes, many volumes. And Abraham Lincoln wanted to do what other folks did, and he wanted to set up colonial spaces and send Africans either back to the continent or to South America. His main concern was he didn't want any miscegenation. He didn't want any Africans having sexual relations, marrying, having kids with Europeans. People don't know that about him because they don't read his writings. They don't read his stuff. But that's what Abraham Lincoln was about, and that's what he was trying to prevent. So we paint him in a particular way, but that's not the story that is painted of him is not necessarily the true story of who he was. And so I think that when we look at reparations, that, you know, we started reparations ourselves. If you look at the Africans who were fighting, and whether it's Ya Santiwa or it was Queen Nzinga from down in the Congo, or you know, all the places that African people have been, we always have fought for our liberation and then did things to create the type of repertory healing that is needed, because I think the first piece of that is with us internally. So if you look at Haiti, once Haiti got independent in 1804, the president, the leaders of Haiti went around freeing Africans all over the place. So they were already engaged in liberating African people, providing coins, helping them to mint coins and do all the things that they needed to get free, and had the the, if you look up the literature, that they said that if Africans who were enslaved got to Haitian shores, that they would be free. And over tens of thousands of African Americans went to Haiti and got their freedom. We don't talk about that because a lot of us don't know it, but that's some of the history of it. So none of that was easy. Haitians didn't have more guns than the French. Haitians didn't have more cannons than the French, but they had African spirit. They had African know-how. They had the African heart. They didn't fear death. And so then all those things were the things that made it possible for Haiti to get free. And why it's going to get free again from its own continuous colonial imposition by the U.S. and the French and all the people who go to Haiti to take stuff from there because they have all kinds of minerals and other resources that the West wants. And we just think that we look at Haiti and we see it just an impoverished place. But if you go watch some of the UN videos and you see the UN taking out bars of gold and other resources from Haiti, then you begin to see that there's some other stuff going on. And those are the things that we need to look at, that reparations, no, it's not going to be easy, but it's required, right? It was no ifs, ands, or buts or questions about getting reparations for the Japanese, reparations for the Jewish people, reparations for others. Well, it's time for reparations for Africa. And so I've been, as a matter of fact, I'm writing an article for the New Jersey, the Star Ledger, I'm going to be doing an op-ed piece or something like that on reparations for there. But I'm working on when we were talking about reparations in Algeria, reparations in at the Pan-African Congress in Togo, and definitely talking about reparations in Ethiopia. So the first paper I wrote on Pan-Africanism and looking at these issues was back in the 1980s. So I've been thinking about working on reparations ever since. And when I was running for U.S. Congress, as the veteran Fred Smith said, I ran for U.S. Congress twice. And in running for Congress, I said that, we have a legislation that's on the table is H.R. 40. I think we need to be more aggressive in our approach to reparations, though, because it's not about just reparations for the country, right? So that, people want reparations from the United States. They're talking about 1619. No, it's not just that. It's about the companies, right? The insurance companies, the shipping companies, the banks, the churches, the universities. All of them got benefit from enslavement. The individual families, all of them owe reparations, and they should be held accountable. And is it going to be comfortable and easy for them? No, it's not, because they stole it, and so they what they stole and they profited from for centuries has made them wealthy. That's why you have such extreme differences in wealth between African people in the U.S. And Europeans, not just in the U.S. but across the world, and that's because if you just took 100 acres of land, they had thousands of acres and hectares of land. But if you took just 100 acres of land back in the 1700s or even in the 1500s, and you said, how much would that 100 acres of land be worth today? And how much did they buy with that wealth from that land? How many generations of their children benefited from that land that they got either free or stole or had somebody working on? And so that they owe it now. Now they got to pay up.
All right, Mr. Wright, you got any one more question for him? You gonna
No, I think let me allow other people to come in.
Okay, great.
Okay. I really got the details of the answer he gave to my question. I really love the answer.
Okay, great. Yeah, yes. He did.
I want to
Mr. Nubo, I'm going to come back to you, even though I should give it to you. But let me ask me one question, because I've been waiting patiently to ask Dr. KHALFANI this question. Ever since I heard that he was coming, I said, you know what, as a caveat, I want to ask this question to this scholar. So, Dr. KHALFANI, you probably have read, and I know you're probably aware of this history, of Marcus Garvey's history with Liberia. How he wanted to come to Liberia to set up a colony in Liberia, because he wanted to come. If you read the writing of Garcia, his representative who was in Liberia at the time, written by his wife, they talked about coming to educate the people, to provide skills training, and open them up into different industries. Talk to us a little more about, Liberians are listening, talk to us a little more about why we did not experience the presence of Marcus Garvey in Liberia, and what sabotaged his mission.
Yeah, you can look at the one thing that we can see. And before we get to the sabotage, let's get to the successes, right? So Garvey came to the U.S. in about either 1914 or 1916, and Garvey had, the organization was just a few people, but within 10 years, the Garvey movement had between 4 and 6 million members. It's still the largest civic organization African people have had around the globe to this day. There was no internet. There was no telephones like we know today. There was no cell phones. And so they spread the word through the newspaper, through the Pullman porters, through the ships. and they built organizations. He had a global organization that spanned the entire globe, right? So wherever ships were going, that's where Garvey had. He had chapter in South Africa. He had chapters on the continent in different places. He had chapters in South America, Central America, and the islands, and in the UK. And so then what you see is that he had a vision that didn't rest on the oppression of African people, but used that as a tool to think about how do we change our reality. So when you talk about the sabotage, there's a documentary out on Garvey, and one of the things it talks about is that the person who was the saboteur, the primary saboteur, was the person who he had a lot of trust in. Mm-hmm. And that was the guy who was, I think, the doctor who selected the ships for him. Mm-hmm. And he turned out to be J. Edgar Hoover's first informant. So there you have it. J. Edgar Hoover had it out for Garvey from the beginning. And so since he had it out for Garvey, they were looking for any kind of way to undermine him, and they couldn't find other stuff that didn't work. And so what they did with the Black Star Line, which was the shipping line, first of all, the guy who picked out ships that wasn't no good. So he already knew that because he was working for the FBI, right? And so looking at him, I'm going to come back to the other piece, but I want us to think about, we've got to look at how do the infiltrators infiltrate our organizations? How do the infiltrators infiltrate our organizations? Because I want us brothers and sisters in Liberia to know that we've got to work together, but it's going to be some infiltrators who are going to infiltrate what we do as we try to work together as African people to uplift each other. And we've got to figure out a protocol to identify them and move them out the way. And that may not be a good sounding thing for some people, but I got to tell it like it is. And so that's how Garvey got undermined, though, because then the federal government then went and said that he was doing mail fraud, and they put him in jail for a couple of years. And then the president at the time deported him back to Ghana. I'm sorry, not to Ghana, but to Jamaica. And of course, obviously, the movement was never the same since. That same type of sabotage is what happened with the Black Panthers. Black Panthers were strong, and then the FBI, with their infiltrators, strived to infiltrate and did, and then undermined the organization, and it was never as strong once it was infiltrated. So all of these things that we have to think about in terms of who's out there and what they're doing. And the thing that we have to go to, I believe, is we have to look back at Haiti. If we want to stop that, we got to look back at Haiti. And what Haiti did is that Haiti had its own spiritual system that came from Africa, from Benin. They had voodoo. And voodoo, not just voodoo, did they have voodoo, but they also had knowledge of medicine, of herbs. So they used them to heal themselves, but they also used them in warfare. So, if you look at warfare, one of the people who they call the one of the greatest military genius was the guy from France. I don't even have to call his name.
Bonaparte.
Yeah, no, we don't need to call his name.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But they say that he's one of the greatest military genius. But he was defeated by whom? By Toussaint, by Bookman. So he wasn't the greatest military genius. There was a group of Africans who were the greatest military geniuses. And they look at them and talk about them in negative ways as if they were a terrorist or this or that. But they were actually military geniuses who helped uplift our struggle, who helped provide independent thinking. That was the key. First, they had to convince Africans that their struggle was worthy and that enslavement was something that you could fight. If we don't see that we can fight the things that oppress us, then we are stuck in a place that we don't need reparations, that we can't get reparations, that we can't get the oppressors off our back.
Exactly. So, panelists, I want to say that because the doctors, the KHALFANI is giving a detailed explanation. So we're going to go one question as we go around, please, because we want to get the detailed explanations and some of the facts to the questions that he's going to answer for us. So let's go to Mr. Nubo. Mr. Nubo, your one question, please. Then we'll go around the table again.
Yes, I have a question. I have a comment first. Professor, thank you very much for your explanation on Marcus Garvey.
Yes.
The district where Marcus Garvey was to take African Americans there to Liberia, Plymouth Hurricane District. I'm from that district. And Garvey did not succeed. He went to Africa because of jealousy. And one of those people who were jealous was Du Bois. Du Bois went to Liberia to represent American government during CDB King inauguration. And he told King that Liberia was building a nation, not a race. So when Firestone went to Liberia, Firestone was to be based in Monserrate County alone. But the land in Maryland County, in Plymouth Hurricane District, they took it, that was earmarked for Garvey through J.J. Dawson. They took the land and gave it to Firestone also.
Oh, yeah.
So I thank you, for the information. But let's go to the reparation issue.
Well, before you do that, can I respond to about the Du Bois piece?
Okay.
So I think one thing we have to look. Du Bois lived a long life. He almost lived 100 years, right? So we've got to look at not just Du Bois and Garvey had conflict. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington had conflict. Booker T. Washington had some conflict with Garvey. In fact, Garvey came to the U.S. to work with Booker T. Washington. That's why he came to the U.S. because he wanted that model to build the schools in Jamaica. However, that didn't pan out for him. So the point is that all of them evolved over time. Garvey had the shortest time span to do so, but their ideas and contributions. We have got to look broader than the surface. So beyond his conflict with Garvey, he also got to a place where he was a preeminent Pan-Africanist, right? Du Bois, he gave up his U.S. citizenship and died in Africa. He's buried in Ghana right now. So he had some problems. Some of it because that Huguenot blood that maybe have been in him. We gotta look at the impact of the European confounding of our brains, right? Because he was an academic. He wanted to go to a school, but nobody would give him space. They wouldn't give him a professorship. So he couldn't become a professor at any of these top universities. So he was embittered by that, and he took some of that out on different people around him. Part of that came with the development of his talented tip. But he had some very important ideas and concepts for us that he developed along the way. He even said that if we're developing any art, he said, your art has to be propaganda against white supremacy and developing ideas about who we are as Africans and creating a struggle for that. So he had some conflict in his ideas, but he did both good and harm in the process. But I would say he didn't end in that vein.
Okay. Now my question. You mentioned Ghana, you mentioned Ethiopia, and other countries when it comes to reparation. Have you thought of Congo, where the Belgian people, they kill millions of Africans in the Congo?
Yeah, no, the Congo, I mean, all over the continent, there needs to be reparations. So the Congo in particular, Congo was very heinous in that if you didn't fulfill your quota for picking cotton or whatever they were growing in a given day, that they would chop off the hands of your kids and all kind of stuff. They were chopping off the breasts of women. They were just, the Belgian Congo, the people from the Belgian Congo, and the so-called king. Once again, we don't need to mention his name. The so-called king. Where they were, but no, they were sick. And there's a book by his sister here that if you haven't read, let me pull it out. I'm not seeing it. I know it's over here somewhere. A book by Maremba Ani called Yurugu. And in Yurugu, I don't see it right now. But in that book, she talks about the Asili. And she says these Europeans who came up with these ideas were incomplete beings, and that they themselves operated in a psychosis, and that we've got to think about who they are and how we come to understand their abilities to do the inhumane things that they did, right? And so and some of that we ended up replicating, right, in different places. You'll see, some of those kinds of things that Africans did, the same kinds of heinous crimes, but a lot of that we got because we saw Europeans doing that, but the things that mainly plagued us are the ways in which the slave trade depopulated Africa, right? It by extracting and killing millions and millions of people, that had a negative impact on development. So the places where there was development, where you had great city states, great nation states. I mean, look at Benin, right? We could look at Benin, and I point Benin because if I asked you what is if you said what is a Great Wall that humans have created, most of the time people are going to say the Great Wall of China, but they don't know about the Great Wall of Benin. The Great Wall of China is 5,500 miles. The Great Wall of Benin is 9,900 miles. Most of us have never heard of it. Nope. And the British made their best to try to destroy all of it. They didn't get all of it, but then they extracted the wealth from there. They extracted resources. They killed and enslaved people. So that this type of thing over and over again is why we need to make sure that every place that they set their hand, whether it was the British, the Dutch, the French, the Germans, the Italians, wherever they put their hands, they need to pay reparations.
Okay. So now let's go to thank you. I don't know about you, but I figure I'm in a class and I'm taking a whole lot. So I want to bring in Mr. Barry. You have any question on you? You say you want to listen a little bit. Do you have any questions?
Yes, definitely. So Dr. KHALFANI, thank you once again. I think this show, especially having you, as a guest, is very, very informative, and not just informative, but as well very, very educative, especially for some of us young stuff. And I'm glad that you are here to explain all of these things. So along the way, I mean, you have explained a lot about some of the things that you are doing, and some of the things that you have done, and some that you intend to do in the near future. So I have a question, and it is that amongst all of what you are doing, what have been your challenges so far, especially in ensuring that you propagate these messages, especially of Pan-Africanism, in the continent? What has been your challenges? And after answering the question, then I'll come up with the next one.
Okay. Yeah. So the challenges in mainly in Pan-Africanism is that we tend to define it in terms of just political ideas, and I think that we have to have a holistic Pan-Africanism. So we need to have Pan-Africanism that looks at economics, Pan-Africanism that looks at politics, Pan-Africanism that looks at food and healthcare, Pan-Africanism that looks at politics, obviously. But we need to have a holistic set of systems. Our educational experience, we definitely need. If you go across the continent and in the United States and in the islands, and you look at most of our educational systems, we know more about Europeans than we know about ourselves, which is a crime, right? You go to most places, you go to schools in Liberia. I would ask you, you can tell me, how many places do you go that you know the history of Uganda? You know the history of or anything about what's going on in Kenya and Tanzania, in Egypt or Kemet, in South Africa, in Algeria, in Angola. We need to know our own stuff better than we can talk about that's why I'm saying we don't need to name those folks, because we need to be naming our own places, our own people. How many of us can name all 55 countries in Africa? Right? I used to play a game with my kids. We'd have to go through and they'd have to name all the countries. But most of us can't even name the countries in Africa, let alone the countries that are African that are outside of the continent. Right? So if you look at like a place like Suriname, you look at a place like Guadeloupe, you look at a place like you hear Ghana a lot, but you don't know about Guyana. These are all African countries that are in South and Central America. 25% of the population in Colombia are people of African descent. The largest population of Africans outside of Africa are in Brazil. Only 25% of the enslaved people were brought to the United States. The majority of them were brought to South Central America and the islands. But we don't know that because we only have a little bit of the knowledge of mostly that which Europeans give us. And there was a whole bunch of Africans already here, right? So some of the most recent digs talks about that there was Africans in Brazil 5,000 years ago. How many of us know that, right? So my thinking is that my challenge is that we've got to redefine what we think Pan-Africanism is. And I'll bring this to you in terms of being at the Ninth Pan-African Congress. And that was that one of the things I talked about there that we need to do is that some of the critiques by people there and some of the people who did refuse to go there was that we've had enough Pan-African meetings. We've had enough meetings. We need to do more. And I say there are 1.5 billion Africans on the globe. How is one meeting enough? How is 9 Pan-African Congresses enough? We need to have 1,000 Pan-African Congresses so that we can have the majority of Africans talking about stuff. We need to have a youth Pan-African Congress. We need to have an all-women's Pan-African Congress. We need to have a disabled population Pan-African Congress. We need to have an artist Pan-African Congress. We need to have a media Pan-African Congress. All those things need to happen, and that creates a holistic way for us thinking. How do we provide food for ourselves that's healthy and is not contaminated by all this stuff that Europeans put in it?
Wow. I'm telling you, man, I don't know if I can take all of this already. But we're going to keep moving, because we're soldiers in the movement. I want to come to you, Veteran Smith, for your one question.
So I just wanted to come in with my last question.
All right, I'm going to give it to you. The rest of it, one more question. So go ahead. Abibu. Oh, connection problem. Okay. Veteran Smith, your one question, please. We'll go around the table because we want to get everybody in here because the doctor is ready. He's ready shooting. You're muted. You're muted, veteran, so you're muted. Let me see if I can unmute
it. Okay. Yes. My question would be on Marcus Garvey. As a student of history, it always bothered my mind. What would have happened to Liberia if the best of our culture, the African American that was going, the middle class, they were going back to Liberia. If they had landed to Liberia, how will Liberia be today among African countries? I'm asking that question because they did not allow him to go there. But I imagine as a student of history, if he had landed there and the people he was bringing, what will Liberia be today?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, when you look at the revolutionary way in which Garvey was doing what he was doing, the way he talked, and he would have brought that energy to Liberia. I think that one of the challenges with the repatriation or the colonization in Liberia and Sierra Leone is that we, as Africans leaving the Americas, we didn't have, there was conflict that happened between some of the folks who came and some of the folks who were already there, because the people who came were not people from those particular places. People came from all over the place, and they came there, so they had differences in languages. They still had Europeans who were helping to quote unquote control and set up the colonies. So then those European ideas were still part and parcel of the people who came there, because the Europeans still wanted the benefit of those colonies for themselves, right? So we've got to look at it that Garvey would have disrupted that whole idea for them. And so they probably would have never allowed a Garvey to come and do that, because he would have undermined. Could you imagine if there would have, what would happen with all the rubber companies today if a Garvey had prevailed? They would have never been able to set up shop, at least not the way they've done. And so then those are the things that we have to put in context with that question that you're asking. And I always want to challenge us. It's good to kind of go back and say what would have happened, but let's talk about what can happen, right? What are the strategies that we are willing to put in place? What are the sacrifices that we're willing to make to bring into being the things that a Garvey might have thought about? So that means that we've got to get to a place where we know that we're not going to get everything that we want. So we've got to be willing to sacrifice some of our own ideas, our own pride, our own beliefs about us being, any one group of us having the best ideas, having the best food. We get into all kinds of little, I would almost say, petty conflicts, and we forget the bigger issue. The bigger issue is, how do we as African people arrive on a global level to do all the things that we can do? That is, how do we provide food for the continent without having, how much food is imported in Liberia from elsewhere around the world and not even from the continent? How much clothes are imported in Liberia and is not getting the cloth and the fiber from someplace else on the continent? We need to be getting our own stuff, and we need to start thinking now. That's how Garvey thought, right? Garvey had a whole slew of nurses to heal people. Garvey was developing ships. Where's our ships today that are about African intercommerce, right? Where's our collective ideas about movement? When are we going to get rid of our necessity to have passports and visas to go from one African country to another, right? All these things we've got to, are on the table right now for us, and we've got to begin to start looking at, analyzing, and coming up with solutions to those very things.
All right, thank you, Doctor. Mr. Wright, your one question, please.
Sure. So, Prof, I am taking you back to the issue of the reparation, but from a different angle this time. Is there a continental structure, if you will, that is working together with you on this issue of reparation? And as important as this issue is, my thought is that know about this thing that you are talking, this reparation thing. The children should learn. It might catch up with their time. Probably the realization may not be immediate, but from we're able to overcome the slavery, then it means we can also achieve the reparation. And my today, they might be the ones to be responsible.
Okay. Yeah, I think I got the essence of what you're saying.
Okay,
So
my question.
my response is that when we look at reparations and how we come to understand, you know, how do we both achieve it, and I guess the second part of yours was um, you said something about teaching the youth about it. I think
the coming generation, right?
Right. So that I think the thing is that you can't teach them about reparations without teaching them about the atrocities that our people been through. That is the call for reparations. So someone is not going to they're going to articulate the same thing Europeans do, and I've heard it before, because they don't understand why reparations is needed in the first place. They've never seen any videos or any pictures of Europeans cutting the belly of a woman and snatching the baby out of the womb and throwing the baby on the floor and then lynching the woman. They don't know any of that, right? They don't know the atrocities of African women being raped repeatedly for their entire lives and then bearing children that get sold. They don't understand those kinds of things, but they need to, in order to get to a place where they can think about reparations as something that is not only warranted but mandatory. Until you begin to see and understand that reparations is mandatory, then it's going to be very difficult to argue and push for it. And I think that we maybe have failed in educating them and sharing that with them. That's why I was said in the beginning that in terms of Pan-Africanism, that we've got to have a more holistic push on it, so that the young folks understand it. We've got to have it in the music. We don't hear much positive music anymore. When's the last time you heard a "Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud"? Heard a Fela Kuti talking about water's not your enemy, and all the kinds of positive stuff he was talking about. We've got to get that kind of sentiment back into the mindset and the understanding of the youth, so that they can be the ones who fight for reparations for us. Otherwise, it's not going to be fought fair for, because people don't see the value in
it. Okay. Mr. Nubo?
Yes. For my one question,
I don't know, but I just wanted to drop a little clear point before we cross on, please.
No, we're making around. We still got another hour to go, so we're still going to come around. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully the doctor was still with us.
So I just wanted to come in quickly.
Abibu, we'll come after Mr. Nuba. I'm coming in.
Flow now.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Nuba.
Yes. Everybody is having fun. Yeah, I want to have fun too. Okay. Oh, I should ask you about Kwame Nkrumah. Oh, come on, man. I should ask you about Kwame Nkrumah. Okay. I mean, you know more about him than I do.
I do know a fair about
and the person who wanted to advance Kwame Nkrumah idea after Kwame Nkrumah was Gaddafi. I want to know what was going through your mind, or when our own African brother were enjoying or watching video when they were killing Gaddafi.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Obama.
Yeah. No, that was another incident of sickness. So definitely Gaddafi. Well, first of all, Nkrumah, was a great Pan-Africanist. He studied in the United States at Lincoln University, so he went to school in the U.S. And some of those experiences were the things that caught his eye about the Pan-Africanist struggle, right? In addition to the oppression going on at the Gold Coast at the time. The same happened with Fela. Fela came to the United States. He met up with a sister, and that sister talked to him about some African conscious stuff, and that's how he got his start for it, right? So that Pan-Africanist work is the thing that helps us to understand how we address these issues, right? The first Pan-African Congress was held by was organized by Henry Sylvester Williams, who was from Trinidad, right? So there's a long legacy of folks in the diaspora pushing Pan-Africanism. And so when you talk about Gaddafi, well, we maybe should take a moment of silence. You know, they just assassinated his son.
Yes,
So
yes.
Gaddafi's son just got
I
killed.
I heard that this morning.
Yeah. So I'll take a moment of silence for his son. His son wanted to continue the struggle of a Gaddafi, right? And you know, providing water for people, providing shelter, food, providing $50,000 for you to start your marriage. If you didn't get a job when you first graduated from college, that you would get your salary for a year. So Gaddafi was somebody who was for the people. Their petrol, they used the oil from the country for the petrol, and petrol was only like 2 cents per liter. So you know, that's a whole different way of thinking about stuff. And so you know, when you look at Obama, you know, the challenges that and Obama, even though he ordered the killing of Gaddafi, you know, whom were the instructors who were instructing him to do so? You know, we have to look at it holistically. That even in the current president, you know, his doings are not just his doings. Who are the puppeteers pulling the strings? We have to raise all those questions, and those are not comfortable questions. But I think that we need to raise them to see who's doing what and what else is going on in the process. So with Obama, yeah, unfortunately, you had of course, the reason why Obama did is because I don't think that people around the globe would have tolerated a European president, even in America, killing a Gaddafi. And so it was apropos to do so while you had Obama in office. Unfortunately, because what did that lead to? That led to, and we oftentimes don't want to have these conversations, is that some of the brothers and sisters who are in Africa but are of the Arab foundations, that in terms of whom they are, that sometimes I'm not saying this carte blanche to all of them, but there's some of them who don't like African people, and so then that's why you have enslaved Africans in Libya today, right? That's why you have a slave trade in Libya today. Gaddafi was keeping that at a you know, he was an intervener in that kind of heinous reality for African people, and so it didn't happen under his rule. And unfortunately, after he was assassinated, then you had that same type of mentality reared its ugly head and is still plaguing us today.
All right. Thank you, Doc. I want to go to Abibu.
Yes, definitely. So I think this show, there are lots that we're trying to learn, especially for young stuff like me, you know, Alex, and maybe one or two persons that is listening to the radio. I come with this question since we start talking about Kwame Nkrumah, Muhammad Gaddafi, you know, Sekou Toure, you know, talking about President William R. Tobot and other people, Patrice Lumumba and others. Are you in support of
In support of? You didn't finish your sentence.
Yeah, Abibu, are you there?
They have an internet problem too.
Oh man. He was almost done with a question. Almost.
Yeah. I mean, I think I know where you. Are you there? No, I think I know where you was.
Are you in support?
In support of? You didn't finish your sentence.
Are you in support of? I didn't get you clear.
No, you didn't finish your sentence. You said, "Are you in support of?" and then you stopped. What comes after the word "of"?
Yes. Are you in support of the United States of Africa?
Of course, that's Pan-Africanism. That's Pan-Africanism 101. So,
Do you think now? Let me come in. There is a reason why I asked that question. Now, yes, you are in support. Do you think that dream will come to reality someday?
I think that anything that we want, that we aspire to, is achievable, and I think that that dreaming it is the first step in that, and then creating the steps from that are the things after that. I'll give you an example. If you close your eyes right now, let us all close our eyes, and I want you to envision a statue that says African power across the chest of somebody. And then I want you to envision that statue coming to life and saying, we have the power. And tell me what you saw when you closed your eyes and you said that. Brother Habiba, what did you see? Oh, his internet is gone again.
Yeah.
The point of my story is that we envision everything before we do it. If you just think about driving, how many times did you drive before you actually drove? How many times did you kiss your first girl before you actually put your lips on her? Right? That these things that we envision, and then we have to come up with a strategy to exercise them. So in my book, The Hidden Debate, I wrote something called the principal attainment process. In the principal attainment process, I said that we've got to envision any core societal principle. So whether it's liberty, equality, justice, we have to label it, name it, and specify it ourselves. And I came up with an 8-stage process to get to that point. And so in this book right here, in The Hidden Debate, I wrote a section in here that outlines that 8-stage process. And the point of it was that if we really want to achieve something, there's no one can stop us from achieving it but ourselves. And they talk to us like these concepts, like liberty, equality, and justice, are universal concepts, but they're not. Right? Their idea of freedom is our oppression. Their idea of equality is not us being equal. And so when we understand those things, what we come up with is we see how in South Africa, they talk about a Herrenvolk democracy. That is a democracy where Europeans experience democracy, but everybody else has a system of oppression. The same was true in the United States. Look at the Constitution in the United States. What did it say? What was it about? It said that all men are created equally. Well, but that wasn't true in terms of how they operationalized it. What was true is that white men who had money were the ones who had participation in governance, who had power and influence. European women didn't have access or power. European men who didn't have money couldn't participate. So it wasn't a democracy. The word democracy is used as a trick to get the rest of us to try to think about that we have to get to where the United States is today in terms of its democratic process, but it didn't begin that way 250 years ago. So let's look at how it began, and we think about how we begin our own strivings towards things in the same kind of vein. So can Africa unite in that way? Sure, it can. We just have to begin to think about and do things differently. And once we've done that, it puts us closer to that. Right. I want to say to you as the youth that remember that the leaders who led us to independence, who led us to think differently, were youth. Martin Luther King Jr. was a kid. He was in his 20s, died in his 30s. Malcolm X was a kid. He started in his 20s. He died in his 30s. Garvey was a young man. All of these folks are young folks. And so you've got to take the ownership of your space, and sometimes us older folks might get in your way, and so you have to figure out how to continue to push the agenda, maybe differently than some folks, but that you still have to push the agenda. You have to help us to think more aggressively or broadly, and then be willing to listen at the same time. I think both of those things have to happen, so that that's the way that it's going to happen. The youth are going to be the ones that are going to catapult it. Look at the youngest president in the world is who? Ibrahim Traore, right? Traore. And so Traore is somebody who's pushing the envelope because he has a youth mind. And some of the people who are there even think that he's too young to do the things that he's doing. Think that he's not thinking things through thoroughly. But he's doing some powerful things like Sankara before him. And so those are the ways in which we've got to begin to start moving that agenda. We just need to make sure that you all as youth don't leap into things without playing chess that is on two levels. We want multi-dimensional chess. We want to think through strategy and have 5 different ways of doing it. And we know that somebody's going to take one of your pawns, so that you have to prepare for that pawn being taken, so that when you're moving, you have another strategy in place, and you don't just like, oh man, it worked. We thought we was going to do it, but it didn't work. No, our people have had tenacity. We've had the ability, the willingness to continue to push in the face of white supremacy, in the face of colonial empires, in the face of capitalist enterprises taking over, moving things. So all of those things we have to be willing to move in the face of to create a different reality.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doc. Here's what I want to do.
So my last question.
I want to say this. I want to appeal to all the other panelists. You and Mr. Wright, I want to give you a little bit of privilege here, because you guys are back home and the time is running fast on you all. So we're going to give you, the priority to ask at least 2 questions each. I'm sure the other panelists will understand that. So ask your other question.
Okay, so okay, thank you. So I mean, you talked about Ibrahim Traore, and all of us know the pattern in which he came, to the presidency of Burkina Faso. I must admit, he's doing excellently well in Burkina Faso, and as a matter of fact, as I can recall up to now, he has survived so far more than 5 coup d'etat attempts in Burkina Faso. And this is a man that has collaborated with other, countries like Niger, like Mali, and they formed the Sahel. They call themselves, the Sahel Bloc, right, where they trade with each other. I'm drawing this question to ask that, I mean, Ibrahim Traore and they withdrawing themselves from ECOWAS. Do you think that was the best way forward, especially with the kind of dream that he had in making sure that Africa can stand on her own, can stand to her feet, in making sure that we challenge the status quo, we challenge that no, we have enough oil, we have enough gold, we have enough resources in this continent or in our countries that we can utilize and make sure that we make sufficient impact into the countries that we are all heading. Do you think that was the right direction that Ibrahim Traore and others took in making sure that they withdraw themselves from ECOWAS? Because in most cases, they've been saying that ECOWAS has been used by the West.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we have to raise those questions. If ECOWAS or SADC or any of these regional bodies are being used by the West, and if so, then if nothing else, to challenge that hegemonic push from the West, it doesn't mean that they may not ever come back to ECOWAS. So or that ECOWAS might not join AES, right? So I think that all of those things are possible. So I went to Burkina Faso about a year ago and gave a lecture at the University of Ouagadougou on Pan-Africanism. I was in Niger in preparation for the 9th Pan-African Congress, and we were there talking about Pan-Africanism. So I've been to those places and engaged with folks there, and regularly engaged with folks in Burkina Faso because I think that we've got to continue to push the envelope. I got to continue to educate myself. So education doesn't stop because I have a master's, a bachelor's, and a PhD. Education for me is every day. If I don't learn something new every day, then I'm failing, right? So education is an ongoing and daily process. And because we're ignorant, and I need to know what I'm ignorant about. The more I know that I'm ignorant about something, the smarter I am about what I didn't know yesterday. So that's how I operate. And that's not just on African politics. That's about food. That's about how machines work. That's about how the solar system works. That's about the psychosis of different groups of folks and why they operate and think the way they do. That's about religion. When I lived in South Africa, I studied Islam, Christianity, Judaism. Now I study traditional African spiritual systems, voodoo, Yoruba, Ifa systems, all these different things, and trying to understand a better system, a better understanding of how these systems operate so that we can utilize them for our own personal and collective upliftment.
Okay.
And those are the things I think we've got to do.
Yeah. So
no,
yeah.
I'm
to
come back to you, Abibu. I'm gonna come back to you. I'll ask 3 questions now. Let me go to Mr. Wright, and we'll come back. Mr. Wright.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Prof. I heard Archie say for him this is a classroom, and for me, this is an unexpected workshop that is so rich. So I go to my question.
Yes, sir.
Prof? Yeah, Prof. Pan-Africanism as an idea. Is it working today as much as the dreamers or the visionaries hoped it would be? That's my first question.
I mean, I think that I would say today Pan-Africanism is not what they hoped and dreamed, because there's people pushing back against Pan-Africanism, right? So you've got social systems, you got political people, you got people who got money, because Pan-Africanism for people who got money doesn't necessarily look like the right tool for them. It looks like a tool that is for the masses, and the people who have money and have access to money and control it. Their push is not always for the masses. Their push is for themselves, and so they buy into this capitalist idea. And I'm not saying that capitalism is the devil. I'm saying that we've got to have a more nuanced way to think about how we do African reality, right? So there's a book over here that I use. It's called Mbongi. And I think that one of the things that we've got to do is that we've got to look at that we've always had our own systems of governance, and we've got to look in. I guess that's backwards for you guys not seeing it.
We are. You
see it properly. Okay. So the Mbongi is a system of governance that Baba Fukiao wrote about from the Congo, and in so doing, he helped us to change our thinking about that we've got to have democracy, or we've got to have capitalism, or we've got to have communism, or we've got to have socialism. No, we've had our own systems of governance for thousands and thousands of years. African people have lived all around the world for tens of thousands of years. And these new systems that Europeans created for their benefit are new. They're not old. We have our own old systems, and we should look to them. It doesn't mean that we can't use some of the newer systems, but it means that we've got to value our own way of doing and thinking, right? We've got to, they talk about your, what is the word I'm looking for? That Marimba Ani talks about your ways of thinking and doing. And we've had our own ways of thinking and doing, and we've got to come to terms with valuing them and studying them. We don't study our own systems of thinking and doing, and so we don't know about them. We don't know that they existed, and that they still exist. There's languages that are writing systems that we don't even know about that African people have been doing for decades. In Nigeria, they have a system called Nsebede. Most people have never even heard of it, but it's a writing system that African people developed thousands of years ago, or maybe hundreds of years ago. But then there's ways of thinking about math and living that we have. If you look at the circular way of African houses traditionally, there's something called fractals. And these fractals are the ways in which our houses are structured. But those fractals also talk about a math system that Europeans studied, but they got them from us. And so we've got to realize that that's where it comes from. Even we're using a computer today, right? The oldest system of computing, or the idea of it, that this system runs on its very base on binary, right? Which is ones and zeros. But there was a European who studied binary, and the way he studied it is that there is an Asian spiritual system called from China called the I Ching, but the I Ching comes from Africa, and so that the oldest computer idea that binary system is what they still use in Yoruba divination systems today, using what they call Ifa, and they have 256 odus or chapters in that. And then even in Arabic, they used to do what they call sand divination, which was also binary. So this binary thing is something that we already knew, but we don't think we know math because we haven't relied on our own ideas and understandings. Even the oldest math device in the world comes from East Africa, from a group of women. It's called the Ashango bone. 28,000 years old. They were doing math in Africa. Math is in our DNA. Science is in our DNA.
All right. Mr. Rob, we're going to give you one more question, and then we're going to go to the round of Mr. The veteran Smith. And
yeah, sure. Sure. So, Prof, with your political eyes, I want you to please drill the panel on this issue. Political Africa during the period of the struggle for independence, plus political Africa in today's reality. Is Africa any better? If not, how can it be? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if better is the best question. It's different, and that obviously you don't have the Belgian Congo. So in that regard, I think that if we're not getting our hands chopped off, we might be better. If we're not having Europeans taking thousands and thousands of Africans on ships, we might be better. If we're,
I will explain why I chose the word better.
I'm sorry.
I could explain why I chose the word better.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm looking at, I was a kid coming up during the struggle for independence, and I thought there was this unity among Africans. We were in school doing something like current events, and I was one person who was very keen, wanted to know everything that was going on. But there was this visible unity. The Africans were together during our period. Today, what I saw then, I'm not seeing it today. That's why I thought to use the word better. So is Africa better today with all of Africa being independent than it was at that time? Thank you, bro.
Yeah. We get that same question in the U.S. And you know, people say, well, are you better off than we were, you know, back when we had a better sense of community? So some things have eroded, right? So we definitely can say that there's some cultural, political things that have eroded and that are not as good. And there's other things that are. So that's why I don't think it's a blanket question. you have a lot more young folks who are getting educated, who go to school, and have access to some opportunities. However, at the same time, you have some things. I think that one of the failures that I've come to understand, maybe in the last 5 years, is that our pushing our children, our youth, to do whatever they want to do. You know, that's this European idea. Tell them that they can do whatever they want and go get a college degree and move and go do what they want. And they're not contributing to the family anymore. So we lose our sense of community because even myself, my parents are in California. Most of my family's in California on the West Coast, and I'm here and I don't have any family here, right? And not my married family, but I don't have any biological family in the East Coast in New Jersey. So even though I've been successful to a certain extent, I haven't been able to my family hasn't benefited from me having a doctorate degree. My family hasn't benefited from me knowing what I know because I'm not there to share it with them, right? I'm here and I'm extremely busy and I'm out in the world a lot. And so the people who are around me, I've had to reconstitute family in the East Coast. And I've done a good job of that, and I got some good family. Veteran Fred Smith family. You know, we have family around us, but it's different that we've had to calculate. And one of the things that I think that we've in doing this that we've failed to see is that, say for instance, if I'm a doctor, most of us don't have push one of our children to become a doctor or a lawyer or a welder or something that's going to help the things in my practice. So, you know, maybe my kid should have been an accountant. Maybe my daughter should have been in marketing and help to market the things we're doing. We haven't done that because we told them to go out and do whatever, wherever. And I think that's been a shortcoming that we've had, that we've bought into somebody else's narrative about that, where we should be enticing our children from a very young age to do something that contributes to our building of the system. So that if we think about Habibu's question about the youth, I think that the youth need to figure out how do they contribute to the systems of community structure that are in place in ways that are meaningful, right? And I think that if not doing that means that Pan-Africanism might not be as successful as we want because we only see it in this esoteric way as opposed to in a practical way.
Okay. You know what? I think I have deprived myself a lot, so I'm going to come back in and ask my question. I hope you don't mind. That you talk about the various type of African conferences that we must have. That just having the ninth of Pan-African conference is not enough. You want us to have more, even thousands of them. And you talk about different discipline, different areas of concern. And so I want to move from, I know most of the panelists talk about reparation. I want to move into the religious sphere. Because I think, and you will agree with me on this, that we Africans are the most religious beings on this earth. It is at the core of who we are. So, and I'm going to name these two Pan-Africans you probably know, Dr. Yusuf Ben Yekanum. Mm-hmm. You probably heard of him, and you heard of Dr. Khalid Mohammed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
These are two prominent individuals. And they spoke of the Yoruba Ife, a religion that you have already part of. I want you to talk to us tonight about it because we tend to be too much into the church, you know, and we forget, like you said, we need to talk about what we are, who we are. And I think when I listen to Dr. Yusuf Ben Yekanum and I listen to Dr. Khalid, may the soul rest in peace, they really bring the Yoruba religion forward, you know, and as you listen to it, you feel proud about it. And can you take your time and talk about it tonight?
Sure. Yeah, so as a priest in the Yoruba system, I've gone through initiation, I've gone through study and continue to do so. What I've learned, though, is that all those elements of the Orishas, Eshu is the Orisha of lightning, Ogun, Orisha of iron and warfare, Oshun, the Orisha of the sweet waters, Oya, the whirlwind, the winds and the power. She's a powerful Orisha. Yemenya, the Orisha of the oceans, and then you have Olokun, who's the Orisha of the deep waters. So all of these different, and there's lots more, but they bring what Baba James Small always talks about is that those spiritual energies are within us. So there's nothing that you don't have. I would say if we think about initiation, if we think about studying, it's about fine tuning and helping you to access that energy that's already in you, accessing that point of enlightenment. And so then what they, if you know, I'm not a Babalao, but a Babalao who is a high priest in the Yoruba pantheon, and that pantheon continued in the Americas. So you have Santeria, you have Lucami, which was in Puerto Rico and Cuba. You have Ubanda in Brazil. You have Candomblé. So all those spiritual systems lived on in the Americas. And then you had from Benin, you have voodoo. And then so you have voodoo in Haiti. You have voodoo in the Americas for the Africans who came to New Orleans. You have hoodoo. You have conjure. All these different spiritual systems. You have Palo Maumbe, which is Maumbe is a Congolese spiritual system. So lots of different African spiritual systems all throughout the Americas. And so then we didn't, that those knowledge of who we were didn't die when we came over on the slave ship. When they tried to beat it out of us, they couldn't. The drum was part of our soul and spirit, and the drum continues to be beat within us today. And so then those things give us what in Yoruba the word ashe means power. It also means like so be it. You know, when you pour in libations, you say ashe. But ashe means so be it. It means power. That the things that you speak. The young brother was talking about what we were talking about what the youth can do. Be mindful of your words because your words have power. Use your words choosedly so that you choose to do the things that are going to transform you. Don't say what you can't do. Say what you can do. Don't speak in negations, that is negatives. Speak in affirmations. Try not to use the word but, because when you use the word but, if I said to you right now, if I said, I think this is a great show, but I just negated that. I undermined what I just said about this being a great show. I can say this is a great show and I think it should do this. Let's be additive instead of subtracting. See, we've got to change our way of thinking, communicating, and the way the synaptic nerves operate in our brain so that we're not taking on the words, ideas, and usage of the oppressor. So, and I think the spiritual tuning in is the thing that helps us to get there. They used Christianity, Islam, Judaism to undermine us. And I don't say that, you know, you said that we're the most religious people, and I don't say that Christianity doesn't have value, right? So we have to think about, and I don't say that Islam doesn't have value. We've got to look at the value that it has and not just look at it from a European lens. There's great contributions that African people were already, there's great ideas that African people were already talking about using what we see and say is Christianity thousands of years before Christendom came into being. And we have to also look at that Europeans used aspects of Christianity to control people, right? So they took, if you take, for instance, the Council of Nicaea, which was the 329, 326 AD. The Council of Nicaea was the Catholic Church objective to codify the Christian religion under Catholicism. And so what they did, though, is that certain groups of people who were practicing various versions of Christianity were not invited to the Council of Nicaea for the meeting. So therefore, their ideas and some of their books are not there. Go look at the Bible. There's lots of different versions of the Bible, right? The King James is one version. If you go back, when I was studying Christianity when I was in South Africa, I lived there in 95. When I was studying Christianity, one of the things that I learned was that there are chapters of the Bible that are only in the British Museum. Why? If it's divine texts, let me decide whether or not I want it to be there. Let me decide. Let the Spirit touch me and tell me that that one word is important for me. But you take it out because you're trying to control something. Why did you take out what you took out, and what did you leave in? Or what did you add? Because if you're taking out stuff, now I want to know what if you added something, right? Those are all kinds of questions we have to think about in looking at that. And there's very ancient and old Ethiopian text Bibles. I think people need to go learn to read Amharic or whatever language they might be in, and read those older biblical books that we don't know how to read, right? Because it may tell you something that's very different than the English, the French, the Latin, the Greek. May tell you something very different than we don't know, that we need to know. And so then that becomes some of the foundation. And I think we also, if we're going to be Christian, we need to Africanize our Christianity, and we shouldn't be worshiping a white Jesus. And I know we got religious folks in the room, but I think that we gotta bring that to a question, right? That whom is it? Because that fills your soul. And if you have on your wall someone or something that is divine that don't look like you, then what is that saying to you every day, right? So we've got to think about it. And as a matter of fact, I have something to share with you. I got this when I was in Ethiopia. This is an Ethiopian version of the. They have their own thing, and they don't look European to me, right? So we've got to say that we can do that. And these are ancient. This is in a wooden thing. This is you see. So the stuff exists. We just have to go out and seek it out, and then use that as the way in which we represent it and talk about it and look at the connections. Right? If we look at the connections between Ifa in the Yoruba system and some of the, I went to a reading of the year of the Senegalese spiritual system. And the Senegalese has very similar things to the, not the exact same, but to the Yoruba system. The Congolese have very similar things to the Congolese, to the Yoruba system. So all of these have some similar things that we should look at and think about. And you talk about Dr. Ben, whom I've met before he passed. That Dr. Ben was trying to get us to think a lot about our ancient Kemetic foundations. Yeah. And here again, I have another piece for you, right? In ancient Kemet, we have a system of Ma'at, and Ma'at is a system of scales and balance. And at the time of your demise in ancient Kemet, they would wear your heart against a feather. And if your heart was heavier than a feather, then you didn't live a righteous life, and you need to go back through the system, through reincarnation or whatever mechanism, because it's not just about living a life, it's about living a righteous life, right? Did you give grace to your brothers and sisters? I think that's one of the things I learned when I was in China. And I'll say that when I was in China, I learned that, I was in a city that was supposedly a small city, 23 million people in Chengdu, China. And, so traffic was crazy in my mind. But what I learned is that even when people got traffic and somebody would cut somebody off, they would still give that person grace. And what we do, here I live outside New York, right? So if you cut me off, somebody's going to cuss you out, somebody's going to chase you down, but we don't give each other grace to realize that all that's not necessary, right? So sometimes we have to think differently about how we do what we do. and utilize all the systems that are available to us to create the Africa that we want.
All righty. So the time here would mean is 6:43. Doc, you leave us 7. Is that right? Or you? It's clear we're going to have to get you back.
I'm on your time, but there's sometimes it's good to come back and bring some fresh ideas, thoughts, and process.
Exactly. So we're going to go around the room, just one more question each, and then we'll let you go. So I want to start with you, Mr. Nubo, and I want to go to Fred, a veteran, and I'll go around.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you. And we will love for you to come back.
Yes.
And maybe, you need to tell us the time, or tell Mr. Smith the time, because we want to go beyond or maybe 2 hours.
Yeah. We can start at 4 o'clock.
As Mr. Wright, Amos D. Wright said, this is a workshop. And it's good you talk about the Ethiopian Bible. The Bible we have now, there are a lot of stuff that were not included. We have 66 books. And in the Ethiopian Bible, we have 88. Include Jubilee, Enoch, and what have you.
Right.
All the books that they threw away during the National or conference, they are in the Ethiopian Bible. But my question is that you studied religion, and we know the history or the record of Jesus up to 12 years old. And then for 18 years, we don't know where Jesus was, what he was doing. Please comment on that.
I mean, so I don't. Our dear brother of Fred, Veteran Smith, is our resident religious leader. So I don't profess to be know all there is to know about the Bible. However, what I would suggest is that that we have there are enough places in the Bible where we have some questions to raise, and some things may not line up the way that they're presented. I was just talking about ancient Kemet, and obviously ancient Kemet is Egypt, or what they call Egypt. And so then, even if you look at Moses, that Moses lived in ancient Kemet for 44 years.
Yes.
And if Moses lived in Kemet for 44 years, in Kemet, you would every day, and he was studying to be to take the place of his father. So that means he would have studied the secret, the mystery systems, right?
Yes.
He would have had much more advanced education and access to books and materials than any other person that would have been in Kemet.
Hey, buddy. What's up?
What we know from that is that in the mornings in ancient Kemet, they would have said the 42 principles, which includes what we know today as the 10 Commandments.
The 10 Commandments. Yes.
So the 42 principles, if you look them up, the 42 principles of Ma'at, you'll see that the essence of the 10 Commandments is in them. And so that means that every day he was saying those things twice a day, because they said in the morning, they said, I will not kill my neighbor. And then at night they will say, I have not. But what that recognized in ancient Kemetic saying is that maybe somebody did violate one of those 42, but it recognized your humanity. It suggested that you're striving to be this way, but you're not there, right? And so then in that striving is the thing that we look at in terms of Moses or Moshe, that we have to think about in terms of what that might have been. So then those 42 principles, to me, are reenacted in the 10 Commandments, right? So then those 10 Commandments are something because we have to. I do this whole thing in my class with my students. I say to them, if God told Moses to get rid of the plates, and you discarded them and threw them down and broke them, and you got a new set of 10 commandments, why do we use the old set of 10 commandments?
Okay, Doc. Let's go to my question, and then we see whether we go to the listeners to ask a few questions before time expire.
Okay.
My question would be: you having a spirituality conference
Yes.
at SS College will be coming on, and as African people, we have gone through a lot. Now, heating, we need heating, but we have religion. But our religion today, people don't recognize our religion because we had religion before in the past. What would this conference that you're having at SS College do to renew our spirituality?
Yeah, no, thank you for asking that question. So this is the 8th annual African Spirituality Conference. And what this year's theme is about is trying to get us who come from divergent or different African spiritual systems. So somebody is Kemetic practitioner, somebody's a Christian, somebody's a Muslim, somebody's a Buddhist, somebody is a Yoruba, somebody is a voodoo practitioner. I'm saying let us all come together and find some threads that we can use. Really, it's almost like a Pan-African conference, right? And we're using this as a way for us to talk about our spirituality and what are the places that can unify us as opposed to just looking at the places that separate us. Sometimes we spend so much time focusing on the things that divide us that we never get to the place of talking about and building on the things that can unite us. And that's what I want. That's what this conference is about, building on the things that can unite us spiritually.
Is there a link that can be shared with also?
Yes. People, well, that is for people who want to participate, who want to sign up, who want to come. I think I sent it. Let me send it to you right now. If I didn't send it before, I can't send it on this thread here because I'm not logged. I'm logged in on my computer, not my thing. But let me send it to you.
Okay. And I will share with others. So while you're doing that, Alex, can we take in a few questions from the callers? Few questions.
All right, so that's it, folks. Tonight here on this radio. You've been following the program. I beg today for tonight. Let's hear from you. 0776 105 105 881 14 3504, and you will get the opportunity tonight to ask questions here. What do you understand from the guests, or what you want to understand from the guests? It's about time that you call in, and let's hear it tonight. The program I beg today for 0776 105 105 881 14 3504. 0776 105 105 881 14 3504 are the numbers tonight to put you through here on the program that beg today for. You listen to the guests explaining why we're in the issues, and you listen to some panelists asking questions, and so there are things that you don't understand from the guest. It's about time you ask him. He is here with us. There's an opportunity for you that you can ask and understand what exactly that maybe he said that you don't understand. It's about time that you call in, and you will be live on the program that bet today for 0776 105 105 881 14 3504 are the numbers to put you to know you'll be live. So those of you watching us on Facebook, YouTube, the last number there is our WhatsApp number on the screen. So the last number that you are seeing on the screen is a WhatsApp number. Just dial it, and you're going to be live here this evening. 0776 105 105 881 14 3504. 0776 105 105 881 14 3504. Let's hear from you here on the program that back to default tonight. Zero 0776 105 105 881 14 3504. Let's hear from you tonight on the program that back to default. You listen to the guests here explaining why we're in the issue here. It's about time that we hear from you, right? The numbers to call us are 0776 105 105 881 We take 2 or 3 calls, go back to the panelists, and the guests will conclude on the show, right? Yeah. So let's hear from you in the meantime. 0776 105 105 881 The numbers will pull you through tonight.
Okay.
Brother Fred, I put it in the chat. Brother Fred, I put it in the chat.
Okay.
Veteran Smith, I want to ask one question while we are waiting for the call.
No, let's wait. Let's wait.
Yeah, put a call through tonight on 0776 105 105 881 and let's hear from you on the program that Back to Default tonight. 0776 105 105 881
Okay. Okay. Eric, if they're not answering question, then let me. That we have to invite. You can call the audio of Eric. Call the audio of Eric. Yes. When there is a question, you put it back. But I know our professor, our special guest, is very busy. I know you have a top schedule for tomorrow. But I want in your closing remarks, when you ain't going, you can add this question, because I'm thinking for people who might be wanting to call or they can't call, that they will be thinking about this question. When Africa started, we had 3 African republics. We had Ethiopia Kingdom, one kingdom, Liberia, and Haiti was speaking for the whole black race. Now, Ghana was the first in 1957, and then we have up to date, we have about either 54 African countries. If you look through that trend of the 3 original black countries and looking at the multitude of African countries we have today, if you were compare and contrast, where are we heading?
So I think that we've seen some further dividing or balkanization of African countries, right? So you had South Sudan separate. There is Somalia, and then there's a part of Somalia called Somaliland that's trying to create it, recognize its independence. There's an ongoing conflict between Morocco and Western Sahara. The Western Sahara is now has its own name and is trying to assert its independence. So some of those things continue to go, and what I think that if we really are careful in looking around the world, we see that those small balkanized states don't do so well, and that you end up with replication of services, minimal buying power, more countries that have no access to the border or minimal access to water and other kinds of resources. So in that context of that, the unification of Africa is the only solution, and that process is going to and maybe even regionalization might be a solution, where you have AES and other countries joining AES or ECOWAS or SADC, or that those become almost nation states, and that might create a better way of navigating space than to continue to have smaller countries that can't defend themselves militarily, that can't provide enough food and education for their people. They may be able to do it in a marginal way, but they can't do it very well. because they don't have the access to the number of resources that are needed for the small countries.
You are muted, veteran. Okay. How much money can you give us, or we can wrap things up? I know you have to go, and we have to invite you another time. How many minutes? Somebody, can we go one?
It's 6 o'clock. I mean 7 o'clock now. You know what? I have another meeting coming up around 8. So maybe we can go another 20 minutes or so and call it, so that way I can get out of here and get home to my next meeting.
Okay.
So every morning they don't.
So Mr. Newbo, make sure your question brief to the point so we can have utilize the 20 minutes wisely.
Okay, you push me aside, and I have to recollect what my question was, but I will do it quick. Okay, we're talking about Pan-Africanism, and we're talking about unity, that we were during the colonial period when we were fighting for independence, we were united. I would say no, we were not united. That's why we had a Morovia group and we had a Casablanca group. That's why we did not end up with United Communities of Africa or United States of Africa. That's why we ended up with OAU.
And
so I just want to make that clear. We were not speaking with one voice. Okay, my question. We are talking about Pan-Africanism. And I feel that every nation in homeland Africa need to have that setup organization called Pan-African Organization. How do we do that?
I think that is that was in part the objective of the OAU that didn't work. I think that was part of the objective of the African Union that's still kind of struggling with it. So I think that the solution is going to be that we're going to have to continue to push our governments, but we don't have to wait for our governments to talk about Pan-Africanism. I think that business people can operationalize Pan-Africanism without government. I think that radio programs like yours, TV programs, can not only have conversations about Pan-Africanism, but maybe you all can replay each other's shows, and that creates a Pan-Africanism, right? So here's an English show, but how do you convey the same information to people who speak French? How do you convey the same information to the people who speak Portuguese or Swahili? I think that some of that becomes the unification of us, because we recognize that we have diverse language systems and our languages are imposed by outsiders. So you have a lot of people speaking Arabic, a lot of people speaking English, French, Portuguese, and we oftentimes want to unite under one of those colonial languages, although Sheikh Anta Diop said we should unite under Swahili, right? So we've got to think about, and he was from a Francophone country, so we've got to think about how do we come together linguistically and spiritually. And I think all of those things are important facets to get to the answer of your question.
Thank you. Veteran Smith, I'm done.
Okay. Mr. Wright, Alex, you have any question? You're a young man. Okay, you didn't answer. You have any question? I'm not. We're not hearing you. We're not hearing you.
You getting me now?
Yeah, you have any question? Yeah, you have any question?
For now, reserve comment. Because the question I was
Okay,
going to ask, because
okay.
yeah, there are another group in Africa called Unite Africa. I don't know if you are working in line with the group, because they also have the same vision of bringing Africa together. African Union, African Union to say United States of Africa, and those groups appear here before on this radio. I don't know if you guys are part of this thing.
I couldn't hear what you said. What is the name of the
What is
group?
the name of the group? Well, let me see if I can get it. They call it Unite Africa.
Yeah, I think that I don't know specifically of the group you're referring to, but I think that all of those are.
For your
Alex, you
audience.
have to follow your audience from your end.
I think all of those are aspects of the Pan Africanist idea. I don't think everything has to use the word Pan Africanism to be Pan Africanism. I think it's more important to be Pan Africanism than to just use the word Pan Africanism. Because some people who use the word, maybe they're not Pan Africanist. So I think at the heart of it is that we need to be talking about how do we unify. So some people talk about Ubuntu. Some people talk about other words that are like Ubuntu. You know, we are, therefore I am, therefore we are. The collective coming together to transform the realities of our experiences. And whatever you call it, as long as we're doing that kind of work, to me, that's moving in the right direction. So that's what I would say. What'd you say?
Veteran Smith, we are listening. Are we going
Okay,
to Mr.
okay.
Smith?
Mr. Wright, you have anything, Mr. Wright? Close your, close your. Alice, close your microphone. Okay, Mr. Wright, anything? So, as the last question.
My last will not be a question, but I just want to say I've learned a lot here this evening on my side, and the reparation, the work the prof is doing in terms of the Pan Africanism, and many things that I didn't know about the discussion on blacks and Africans. I want to thank the prof so much, and I wish I could be around again when he's on the platform. Thank you so much.
So, Prof, before you give your closing remark, I want you to include, because you mentioned something, you and two other persons from a Caribbean country, you participated in the African Union. There were only two representing. I remember the diaspora was divided into regions where they had representative of our people participating in the African Union. So were there other people there from different regions, African American or Africans worldwide, put in different regions to represent their views as African people, one African people?
So at the Pan African Congress in Togo, there were lots, right? So there was probably over 1,000 people there, or maybe a couple of thousand even. And there was 100 people from Brazil alone. So those people from Brazil, I was there. I met the president, the current vice president of Colombia, who is a sister. I met the former vice president of Costa Rica, who is a sister. So there was people from lots of different places around the globe. A lot of people from the United States, from the UK. So yeah, at the Pan African Congress, there was a lot of movement towards pushing for the type of upliftment we're talking about. Now, at the other meeting that you're asking about specifically, the one on reparations, no, there was only two people. It was a very small meeting, so it was only about 15 people there, and there was only two of us who are from the diaspora.
So how are we going to achieve the reparation? Because sometimes when we put for it, people say, yeah, we deserve it. But when it comes to how we be divided, that's it become a question. So can you help us give an idea for Africa, for the Caribbean? How would that be divided? And what are the best course of that?
Yeah, I think some of that means that we need to have the enumeration of what happened and where it happened. So one of the brothers wrote, who was in our group, he talked about having a registry of the atrocities committed by Europeans. So then that would put in that registry, it would be a database of the people who enslaved people. So what countries, what businesses, what families, what churches, what um, uh, uh, insurance companies, all of those places, what universities, so that we could enumerate all of the different types of people who benefited from slavery. And then that would give us a basis for talking about reparations. Another person wrote a book. His name is Sandy Darity. He wrote a book. Him and his wife wrote a book talking about reparations. And one of the things he said is that we can't just look at reparations from slavery. We also have to talk about the colonial process. We have to talk about Jim Crow in the United States. So all of the things that were subsequent to enslavement, because the things that happened subsequent to enslavement was almost as heinous as slavery. In some ways, they were more heinous because during the enslavement process, it was less likely that the slave masters were going to kill someone who was enslaved because that was capital that they would lose. Whereas during post-slavery, when they had convict leasing, meaning that they would put you in prison for some simple thing, and then the prison systems across the United States would lease those people out to work, and they would work Africans to death because they would just get another person and put them in prison for spitting, for loitering. You could go to prison and serve a long time in the United States because you were sitting outside hanging out with your friends and so-called loitering because you weren't working for Europeans in particular. And so then, lots of people's lives were ruined because of those kinds of things.
Okay, so give your final comment, and we'll invite you again. There's a bit of demand. And if you want to come on the morning show tomorrow, maybe 5 a.m., I don't know how early you get up, you can join us on that show also, if you can. But that would be an invitation.
Okay. Well, maybe not tomorrow because I have another meeting at 6 a.m.
Okay.
But I do want to say that, it's been a pleasure being here with you all. I appreciate you, my brother Fred, for inviting me here. I appreciate all the other brothers who were on. I enjoyed your questions and your conversation. Thank you for honoring me with the time to be here with you all and with our brothers and sisters in Liberia and beyond. I would just say that our dialogue continues because our dialogue is the basis of our work, and that we need folks to be writing papers about stuff. We need folks to then take those things, but not just write about the problems, but spend some time writing about the solutions. How do we develop the solutions? How do we get African farmers in the United States who have great ideas and knowledge about farming and farm equipment to maybe invest in Africa and to begin to help do some farming in Africa? And how do we get to a place where we're importing and exporting our own food, developing our own medicines, right? So like when you look back at Madagascar during COVID, they developed their own cures for COVID, and they were using their own herbal medicines and selling them around the continent. And we need to do more of that. That can't just be just a COVID thing. That has to be something that we do regularly on things that we know that work for us. And we've been birthing children, developing solutions to malaria and other things for thousands of years, and we just haven't. We began to trust in Europeans, and we know that they brought poison oftentimes to us, and killed or sterilized many of us. So we've got to think about how do we come up with the solutions and use them, and have faith in ourselves and invest in ourselves. So let's, we spend the money. We'll spend money on some young folks who come up with some great ingenious things. There's been some young folks on the continent who come up with great ideas about cars. Young brother in Tanzania who came up with a way to harness electricity and power TVs and computers without having anything plugged in. We should be investing $1 billion in his technology and helping him to patent it so that Africans have control over it, as opposed to someone trying to steal it or letting some European companies steal it or kill him. We got to invest in ourselves. So that's what I would end on.
You are mute.
We can't hear you, my brother.
Veteran Smith, you are mute.
Yeah, Ellis always muting me, man. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor, author, award-winning TV host, everything, sociology professor, all of that. And will you send the link so we can monitor the spiritual and other Black History Month program that you will be having at SS Community College? And for the young people who couldn't call, is there any scholarship or anything? Because if they were here, they would ask the question. So the veteran usually think for other people, those who hungry for education, anything at SS Community College, those who want to come from Africa to go to school, any words of wisdom for them saying they can call to ask the question?
Yeah, I mean, they can go to the website and look up www.essexex.edu, and they can look up the school and see what we have, see where we're going. We have I run the Center for Global Education and Experiences, so we go abroad. We've gone to Ghana, South Africa, Cuba, China. So we're looking to go other places and do other things, and we want to bring some young folks here and be able to study, and maybe we can set up some virtual classes that they can study. They wouldn't be free, but maybe we can have some other kind of discussions with the Liberian government, maybe one of the states or the provinces. We can have conversations about funding some young folks to take some classes, and they can get credits in the U.S. For the process.
And we could partnership with you, so interesting dialogue at your college. We could air it on our Top FM 105.3.
Yeah, no, we definitely can do that, and maybe even you all want to, I'd be open to you all simulcasting or recasting the African Spirituality Conference, so that you could either be there and have it played live, or have it recorded, and then you can play it back later on. So all of that's possible. I'm open to that.
Okay, thank you very much. You have been a blessing to us and to our many listeners, and you entertained them, you provided them knowledge, and I don't want to do justice of your name, but I will try. AKIL.
It's AKIL.
AKIL.
KOKAYI. KHALFANI, yes, sir.
Okay, so that have been our special guest tonight on Top FM 105.3. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you want more of him, he will send me the link, and it will be live on Top FM 105.3. Which day is the Spirituality Conference?
It's March the 3rd.
March the 3rd.
No, I take that back. March the 21st. March the 21st.
So we get a lot of time for that preparation and planning. And there are other
Let me
programs.
say one thing I forgot to mention, and that is that we're also celebrating our 25th anniversary this year. So this is the 25th anniversary of the Africana Institute. I've been the director for 20 years. There's another professor who was the director for 2 years, and so for 5 years. So we're excited to be celebrating 25 years of providing service to the community, and we're going to have a big celebration on May the 13th and the 14th, and we invite you all to join us. We're going to have a big dinner and everything else. So I'll make sure I get that information to you, Brother Fred.
And people hearing Africana Institute, for our listener who might not understand what it means, can you briefly educate them about Africana Institute?
Yeah, so it's called the Africana Institute because when we look at it, it's not just an African institute. It's about people on the continent and in the diaspora. So Africana means we're looking at African people around the globe, on the continent and in the diaspora. And we have folks from the Caribbean, folks from South and Central America, from Europe. Wherever it is that African people are, that's what we're about. That's what we're about teaching. That's what we're about studying. That's what we're about sharing cultural history and moving things forward from.
Okay, thank you very much. And we invite you again because people are hungry for knowledge. I hope they can take that knowledge and uplift Mother Africa because Mother Africa seems to be need to survive and need its children to keep it going and alive. So for your message for Black History Month, African History Month, well, 3 words for us and you leave.
Sankofa, Umoja, and Ubuntu.
And for people who understand what that means, where we bring it down.
Sankofa is a Ghanaian word, a tree word, and it means that it actually is about a bird that looks backwards while it's flying forward, so that you got to know where you came from to know where you're going. Umoja is a Swahili word. It means unity. We need to have unity. And Ubuntu, as I said in the beginning, is a word that means I am, therefore we are. That we're one, basically. The Jamaican brothers and sisters say I and I because it means that we are one.
Okay,
thank you. Because you are. You are because I am.
Exactly.
Oh, what a wonderful way of ending the show with such. So hope the rest of the Black History Month program at SS Community College in Newark, New Jersey, and we'll be in touch. And anything you think we need to know, let's keep in touch.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay.
Peace and blessings.
Bye. So our panelists, closing remarks from each person. Let's go to Mr. Nemo. Closing remarks from you, Mr. Nemo, before we leave.
Okay. I muted myself. I think it was an excellent program, but we need to do some housekeeping. We're having guests every night. Now the link to the show on the Facebook or YouTube link should be sent, and we share the link, and that's how the Liberian people will enjoy what we have here. That is not done. I even posted in the low chat room here. Where is the link? Posted something to ARCHIE. And up to now, I've not seen the Facebook link. Now I'm going to share on my Facebook page. And you could share it and Mr. Amos, D. Wright could share it. Even Alex could share it. If we want to grow, no, that is the way. No, we need to go.
That's a good comment from you. No, and that is good. We have to develop because there is a way where we get a link, and the link comes on too late. Man, say I feel about you what you just said. The link should have come prior, so we can send it to people.
Yes.
But not everybody having the link. Only the special guests we have the link, but there's prior. Alex, you want to say something about that? Anyway, Miss Araya, closing remark.
Yeah. So I think that's a feedback from the studio.
Yeah, from the studio. Call it Michael. The studio. Okay, much better.
All right. Sure. So in the first place, to tell you the Morovia we're in, I started with light on where I'm sitting now. I'm ending with all light because of power outage. The Nigeria Electricity Corporation has taken the electricity from a side of the town. So we're going to sleep in the dark tonight. But the show was an excellent one, I thought. So much learning. And I'm so happy. Many things I did not learn in school that I heard here tonight. And my only little bit of concern is that this kind of show with so much education and nobody call on the show to say something or to ask questions, then we should do well to have audience for the kind of lessons.
But and to help you, you can continue. I think people pick and choose where their interest lies. If we were bringing a rap artist or a politician, they would have called. But when it comes to education, it don't. And that's where we have to play a role. How do we start getting people to appreciate show like this, which is their heritage, their culture? How do we begin? Teach one, reach one. How do we begin to do that?
But did the studio know that this guest was coming in SHEKU?
Yes. Yes, we talk about it and we've sent the flyer, but maybe what we could do better if we start sending it 1 week ahead of time.
Yeah, like maybe while the other shows are going on the radio, you pop in with the kind of thing that, this kind of program will be coming up this evening on this platform.
So
thank you, Dutton, and thank you, Alex. Thank you, Alex.
Okay. Good. So, okay.
But what Mr. Smith was saying, I think that is because people have interest, like,
Alice can talk. Go ahead, Alice can talk.
Yeah, I said like you are saying, people have interest in things that they want to listen to, like maybe artists coming on the show or either minute politics. You can see like when we posted that we'll be having a Sky Gray, people started commenting, waiting for the show, we'll be following us one. But since today, I made a post that we're going to be having, our guest today. There is no comment, and I shared that whole post, all of group chat. No comment, so that's it.
Okay.
But that shouldn't discourage.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah. So Alice, that shouldn't discourage. We should continue.
No, sure.
So tomorrow, guest will be
would be
a filmmaker,
Okay.
and someone who a filmmaker. Politics will be there. Other things will be there. So let me tell you, Gerald Barkley will be our guest tomorrow. He will be talking about. He will give a preview of the assassination of Torba and his minister. He doing a documentary of that, and will be shown in Liberia sometime in April. But he working on a preview will be presented tomorrow. And so don't miss tomorrow's show. And on Friday, those who like sports, who like Barcelona, Real Madrid, Benedict Wisa, Mama Musa
Yeah.
will be our guest on Friday, like a sports blogger. So I'm letting y'all know now, so you will know that those are the lineup. Friday filmmaker, Thursday filmmaker, Sarah Barkley, and then on Friday, soccer. To appreciate, he will tell you. Could you mute the microphone? He will tell you about the proposed President Burka sooner about academy. Saying he a legend of Liberia, he understand what academy should be, although we never had it in Liberia, but he traveled around the world and had Benedict Wisa and Mama Musa will be our guest on Friday. So we hear good things from him about during his days and how sports can be improved in Liberia and whether the academy will do it. So don't miss the Friday and don't miss Thursday for our award-winning filmmaker, producer, Gerald Barkley. We have to be proud of him because he keeping us our history alive, and he represented all major film, all around the world. He traveled. Right now, he out of the country, but he will be back tomorrow. Before tomorrow, probably he already have arrived, just to be on the show tomorrow to give a Black history perspective of a filmmaker. So don't miss tomorrow. So entertainment, everything. So Ellis, I'll be sending you a lot of things to have ready in between some trailer from some of his movie and all of that to play tomorrow. So we'll talk during the day. So everything to you now as we close so I can get busy doing what I need to do. So bye for now. I hope the veterans have done a good job. But look forward tomorrow for much more entertaining as we celebrate our history, our culture. Bye for now.
Thank you. Alex, you are muted.
We're not hearing you, Alex.
Hey, mute. Alex, you are mute.
You can join us tomorrow, same time, same station.
You are mute. Okay.
Join us tomorrow here, same time, same station. We're going to be having another guest on the show. So don't need your attention. We need you there tomorrow. Those of you who've been sharing the live, let's say thank you so much for sharing our live, and thanks so much for watching. Thanks for being there with us. We hope to be back tomorrow. Yeah. So let me say many thanks to all of you. And this is how we like to draw down the curtain on the program I beg to differ. The name is Elizana Duelu. Let me say bye bye from my end.